year's convention. Gerald and his staff have been tremendous partners to ALPFA throughout the convention planning over the past year. Let's give them a round of applause to show our appreciation. We also want to recognize Deloitte as this year's welcoming partner. We are very grateful for all the ALPFA partners that have made this convention a reality. A full listing of our partners is included in your convention guide. Let's give all of our partners a big round of applause. During the convention, you heard of a number of strategic partnerships that ALPFA has developed to increase our impact by collaborating with other best-in-kind organizations with proven track records. Tonight, we will learn about such a partnership with Junior Achievement, the world's largest organization dedicated to giving young people the knowledge and skills they need to own their own economic success. Tonight, we will honor the accomplishments of outstanding individuals with the 2015 ALPFA Awards, including a presentation on ALPFA's first annual Philanthropist of the Year Award. We will recognize tonight tremendous contributions of the ALPFA mission, their employers, and to their communities. We are proud to have them part of the ALPFA family. And of course, there is that small fact that an ALPFA member tonight will be selected as a winner of this year's special contest and give them the ability to drive away in a brand new 2016 Mercedes-Benz. For those of you without a driver's license, I will be happy to take the car off your hands. We thank Mercedes-Benz for their continued partnership. Next, to lead this evening's invocation, please welcome to the stage Dee Schneider, Director of Product Insights for Deloitte Services and a member of ALPFA's Board of Directors.
Thank you, Joe. As we celebrate the culmination of our 2015 annual convention, let us take a brief pause, reflect on our blessings. Please join me in bowing our heads as we, as a community of one, under a merciful Creator, we come together from different countries, different cultures, dialects, and thought processes. But this week, we came together as one, and an ALPFA familia, to learn and share from one another. We are all extraordinarily thankful for all the people who have dedicated countless hours to advancing Latino leadership in our communities and in our country. Overall, in helping to build a stronger future for all of us, our children and our children's children. Our convention is yearly, but the appreciation is newly and varied each year. We thank you, Lord, for the days we spent together this week. We are humbly grateful for what you have brought us here today, for our shared identity, for what we have in common, the privilege that unifies us, the privilege of being a Latino and of other minority groups, the bond shared with our families and our friends, the delicious food that we are all enjoying this evening, as well the recognition and appreciation to all who have participated in preparing it. And a special acknowledgement to all those who lead this organization's initiatives. We ask you, Lord, to continue fortifying their work, supporting them in their mission. Bless ALPFA's organizers. And above all, we are deeply grateful for your love. Let it be the source of our strength and courage, reassurance, and comfort and hope. Lord, as we conclude this week's activities, let the light of us shared, your love, lead us, keep us constantly aware, your presence, and serve as a model to our fellow man and womanhood. Wherever we go, we pray in your honor, humble and merciful. In the name, let us say, Amen.
We are the investments company for the world and an engine for the global financial markets. We safeguard $28 trillion, one-fifth of the world's assets. We manage $1.7 trillion for investors, and we process more than $1 trillion of transactions every day. Huge numbers, and a huge responsibility. We have an extraordinary client base that includes the world's largest financial institutions, investment managers, countries, corporations of all kinds, foundations, universities, individual investors of all sizes. Clients trust us with their financial assets because they know we are one of the safest financial institutions in the world. They rely on us for the investment solutions and technology that connect them to opportunities in 100 markets across 35 countries. And through that work, we help investors pursue their personal goals and financial dreams. Our deep commitment to diversity and inclusion enables us to be a leader, working across 25 languages and 31 currencies. We believe our people are our greatest asset, that diverse perspectives fuel innovative thinking, that who we are is what we are. So for us, diversity and inclusion are core business priorities. We grow by inclusion, embrace and encourage diversity, and celebrate our people. Because we know that a vibrant, inclusive culture creates opportunities. Since 2010, our dynamic relationship with ALPFA has enriched our diversity. And we welcome the opportunity to deepen that partnership in the years to come. At BNY Mellon, we are invested in people.
Please welcome to the stage ALPFA CEO Charlie Garcia.
Hello everyone, and welcome to our gala. I am really happy tonight to introduce a great partner, and that's Gerald Hassel. He met with me early on and said he wanted to make this convention special, World Economic Forum-like, and I hope that we've delivered on that dream. Gerald not only met with me, gave me his cell phone, introduced me to his senior team, and I mean everyone on his senior team that also gave me their cell phones, and we met regularly. Gerald not only, a lot of companies talk about diversity and inclusion. BNY Mellon has a Latino on their board of directors, which is why ALPFA's brand is with the BNY Mellon brand. And as you all know, there's 872 Fortune 1000 boards without a Latino or Latina. Gerald's been at BNY Mellon his entire career. He became chairman and CEO in 2011. He's also on the board of directors of the Comcast Corporation. And he graduated from Duke. He's very proud of that. And he serves on their board of trustees. He's also has an MBA from NYU. And he's on a lot of boards in New York City, particularly one you're going to hear a little bit more tonight is the museum of the 9/11 Museum and a memorial. So I'd like to call Gerald up to share with you some words. Just know that he's been with ALPFA every step of the way. Gerald, can you please come up? Thank you very much. Awesome. That's great.
Well, Charlie, thank you so much for that great introduction. I really appreciate it, and congratulations to you on your first year as the chair and the CEO of the ALPFA organization. What a fantastic evening, what a fantastic convention. I am just absolutely energized by the energy in this room, about this convention, about everything that you all are doing. It's just absolutely extraordinary. And it's been a lot of fun for us at BNY Mellon to be part of the host committee and to be chair of the host committee and to lend our resources and capabilities to this great and fine organization. I'm joined here tonight by many of our colleagues around BNY Mellon. We also have 4 of our independent directors who are here with us tonight. We have our president here is here tonight, the CEO of 2 of our big businesses, our chief human resources officer is here tonight as well, and lots of colleagues here, so please get to know and introduce yourself to all of us. We are hiring, so please keep that in mind. As I said, this has been a fantastic, different convention for us. I was able to kick it off in a closed session last Thursday afternoon and then a CEO roundtable last Thursday afternoon and evening. It was just a delight to participate in it, and it was just a lot of fun as well. And on the way out, I was, hit up by a couple of enterprising young people that kept passing me their card and saying we'd love to come talk to you about what they are working on and how they can help our organization. I really have a couple of messages for everyone in this room tonight, and really not too many, just 2 main messages. Clearly, as you've heard all throughout this weekend, Latinos are an incredible force, not only within this country, but all around the world. And it's a force that is growing at an exponential rate. You have great influence on the politics of this country. You have great influence on the economic development and growth of this country, and you are a force to be reckoned with. So seize it, grab it, take advantage of it, and help lead the way. Message number 2, for all the employers in the room, you better get on board and hire these folks. They are the folks that are going to be driving our future. The source of innovation, the source of development, the source of great new ideas are right here in this room, and they're represented by the ALPFA organization. So I encourage all of you, don't just take the standard step of reaching out and opening up your website for resumes. Get involved, personally get involved. Meet the people, get to know them, because this is our future. There's no question in my mind about it, and I recommend all of you to get on board and do it. Now at BNY Mellon, today I was just told that we managed to sign up only 1,700 of the 3,700 people in attendance here in terms of our own job fairs. So the other 2,000 of you, come see us later tonight. But it's been an absolutely fantastic experience for all of us at BNY Mellon. It has been a great journey. I've seen the energy within our own team be absolutely extraordinary. It's permeated our entire organization, and it's really made us really think incredibly more about how important diversity and inclusion is, how it will make us a better company, how it in fact rise our performance. The most diverse individuals you have around the table making decisions, the better the outcomes. There is absolutely no question about it. So enjoy tonight, have fun, and I'm sure I'm going to run into a lot of you through the course of this evening, and we're just so proud of BNY Mellon to be the chair of this host committee and to be able to sponsor it here in New York. So thank you very much. Enjoy tonight.
I have an award for you.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Give it to Jyoti. So I don't think it would be fair to, I want to tell you one more thing. As a former Fortune 500 board member, coming to a gala is one thing. Bringing your board to the gala is a whole nother thing. And there's someone that you absolutely have to see, because I know he's no stranger to ALPFA, and that individual is the person that Joe chose to put on his board of directors earlier this year, and his name is Joe Echevarria. And I'd like to call Joe up here, who also recently got on the board of Pfizer. He graduated from the University of Miami, and he went all the way up to becoming CEO of Deloitte in 2011 until he retired in 2014. And I have a little surprise for you, so I asked Joe to come up here and talk to you for a little bit and have a little fun. Thanks, Joe. Good to see you. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Joe. Yeah.
That's a pretty good picture of me up there. So first of all, it's quite an honor to see that my former organization is still living up to the commitments I made when I was their CEO. So thank you, Deloitte. More importantly, to my current resume, great Bank of New York Mellon. For those of you who may not know, Bank of New York Mellon was actually founded by an immigrant himself, Alexander Hamilton. Notwithstanding the fact they're trying to take him off the $10 bill, which we are opposed to. But sitting up here at the front, if I could see all the faces, the whole Bank of New York Mellon team, a couple of my fellow board members are here. But most importantly, I thought it important for you to understand why is it that someone like myself would join Bank of New York Mellon. Primarily because of the people, what they believe, and their sponsorship tonight is just a testament to that. Gerald and the bank made this decision long before I came on the board to sponsor this event. Little to do with me. I'm just sort of the person that gets to stand up here and take some of the credit for it. I do think it was telling when Charlie said that there's still 870 plus public company boards that do not have a Hispanic or Latino director. That's pretty sad in this day and age. But nevertheless, Bank of New York Mellon is not one of them. So thank you to Bank of New York Mellon again for that. So I actually have a real job up here tonight, other than to thank Bank of New York Mellon and Gerald. I'm going to recognize a very, very special person this evening. He doesn't really require much of an introduction, but I'll give him one anyway. This individual was the founder of ALPFA. Just process that. The founder of this organization. This person continues to be involved in ALPFA. The Los Angeles headquarters for ALPFA are based in this person's office. This person has run a successful public accounting, tax, and consulting practice for over 40 years. Now, somehow I got this Lifetime Achievement Award before this person, which makes no sense to me, Charlie, how that happened, because this is the founder. And if you really want to think about what epitomizes this individual, something came to me while I was looking at his resume. He really has chosen to make a difference today for the people who are fighting for their tomorrows. That's probably the best description I could come up with for Gilberto Vasquez, who, my colleague, mi socio, that's partner, for those of you who are here in English, is the 2015 Lifetime Achievement Award winner for ALPFA. Gilberto, ven acá. Pasa aquí.
It's funny when you're sitting there minding your own business, you're kind of relaxing, paying attention, but not paying attention, and all of a sudden something happens that you stand to attention, if you will. First of all, I want to thank Charlie. I want to thank the ALPFA board. I want to thank all of you for this honor. I cannot begin to thank you enough. When I first started ALPFA, I was just telling Christina, a lot of people are not sure exactly why ALPFA started, or how it started. So I'll be very brief because then we have a long program, but it started with an idea, an idea that ran across when I went to the AICPA. I was 31. They had appointed me to a committee, and I asked them the question, how many committee members do you have? They said 1,500. I said, how many Latinos do you have? He said, 1. And I was the only one. And I asked them, how is it that people are appointed to AICPA committees? And they said, if you have an accounting organization, you can recommend 15 a year. So that was the idea of how ALPFA really got started. There was one more bit to it that I'll talk about maybe at another time. Earlier this year, if you can imagine, I went to Cal State LA. They've graduated, I think, about 500 graduates. And this year I was honored as their Alumni of the Year. And they've had this award 40 times. So to have that happen to me, to have this recognition happen here tonight, to see all of you here and to know that we're finally making a dent in being recognized by America. So many times I look on TV and I don't see us, not in English-speaking TV. In the movies, I saw 3 movies about California. One, I'll give you the one that I disliked the most. It wasn't about California, but it was about Jurassic Park, the most recent one. I've never seen a Jurassic Park movie. My wife said, you know, this is the only movie you can see at this time, and I want to go see a movie. I said, fine. It's in Costa Rica. Now, in Disneyland in LA, 65% of the attendance is Latino. In Florida, it's about 35%. What should it be in Costa Rica? 50, 60%? And it was 0. I looked at our movie, and so this is what we need to make it happen, because we're part of America. Thank you very much.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
There you go.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. That's awesome.
I want to be an interpreter for sign language.
Maybe try to be a lawyer.
I would like to run like a little cafe.
Junior Achievement gives young people the skills they need to own their economic success, plan for their future, and make smart academic choices. Our volunteers help students with financial literacy, work readiness, and entrepreneurship.
And it's really helping me understand how it's going to be in the future.
Tonight it's my pleasure to introduce Jack Kosakowski, who is the CEO of Junior Achievement. Let me tell you real quick about Junior Achievement. They're the largest organization of its kind in the world. They have 220,000 volunteers that interact in 97,000 high schools across America with 4.5 million K-12 students, of which almost 1.2 million are Latino and almost 900,000 are African American. It is the #1 nonprofit of choice of corporate America, a $175 million nonprofit with 115 chapters around the United States. Why is it #1? Because they focus on 3 things. 1 is entrepreneurship, 2 is financial literacy, and 3 is workforce readiness. And they have CEOs that are on their board, about 32 of them. It is a very high-level organization that's been around since 1919. And last year I stood up here and we talked about financial literacy and entrepreneurship, and this gives us a vehicle which fits us like a glove. And most nonprofits would not want another nonprofit leader on their board, and this is the first time, as you'll hear from Jack, in their history that they've brought someone onto their board. And what they want from us is, with all these CEOs sitting on their boards, in fact, Gerald Hassel himself told me he sat for 6 years on the board in New York. And their New York CEO is here as well, or president, Joe Perry. Wouldn't it be nice if our ALPFA members who were in the C-suite we're able to go onto these 115 boards across the country, work hard, and rub shoulders with all these C-suite and CEOs that are sitting on their boards. And when the time comes for an open board seat, it'll be easy to recommend to the board a Latino or Latina that you've been working with for 2 or 3 years. And the other thing that they're looking for from us is also all our Latino professionals at ALPFA to come into their programs and be in front of those Latino kids, because what's happening is all the corporations are bringing mostly white professionals and not Latino professionals. So with that, I'd like to invite Jack to the stage. I had an opportunity to be introduced by Jack about a month ago at his annual convention. So I really want to make him feel warm and happy. So big round for Jack. Thank you.
Charlie, that was really a great introduction. Thank you, and thanks to all of you for making me feel so welcome here this evening. It is truly an honor to be here tonight, particularly as we launch a historic partnership between our two great organizations. Starting with my initial research on ALPFA and then my first conversation with Charlie, I sensed that there was a special synergy that could indeed make our relationship historic. So, okay, I'm only 3 sentences into my remarks and I've used the term historic twice, so let me explain. Never in the nearly 100-year-old history of junior achievement have we embraced a partnership with another nonprofit organization at both the very high strategic level as well as at the operational level. Now, we have lots of other partnerships that are operational. These partnerships are typically where JA will work with a local Boys and Girls Club to provide programming, or another nonprofit provides volunteers who come in to teach classrooms for junior achievement. But in our partnership with ALPFA, we've added Charlie to our National Board of Directors to provide strategic leadership, guidance, and direction on all subjects, not just about serving more Latino youth. So Charlie is the first nonprofit executive to join our national board, which is comprised, as Charlie mentioned, of C-suite executives of some of the country's most prestigious and largest corporations. Now, some people have told me, Jack, it's risky to engage a fellow nonprofit, a group that is seeking many of the same resources in communities around the country as you are at your board level. But I firmly believe that this level of commitment is what it's going to take in order to make our collective partnership work. So JA's mission is to serve all youth, African American, Asian, Caucasian, Native American, and Latino. And that mission is bigger than just any one organization. We need to work together. So our partnership is also historic in terms of the timing. Given the tremendous growth in the Latino youth market, rapidly moving from minority to majority in many of our major cities, our mission to empower and develop Latino men and women as leaders of character that you all are doing so well in every sector of the global economy, it's never been more important in terms of what you're doing. So that's historic. Now, Junior Achievement's mission to inspire and prepare young people to succeed in a global economy is totally aligned with the mission that all of you have. And the beauty of this partnership, it's very rare that two organizations can come together where we already have the programming, we already have the experiences, and perhaps more importantly, with our 1,500 staff across the country and 115 different offices, we have the infrastructure to make our collective mission work. Now, you know, for some of you that have not taken a close look at JA lately, you may be questioning, why would Charlie want to partner with this lily white suburban organization? I've been with JA for 41 years, and that's kind of the rap that I get, whether it's in DC or corporate boardrooms. But let me assure you, that perception is not reality. Now, Charlie shared the numbers with you, but let's talk about that again. Of the 4.5 million students that junior achievement reaches every year, roughly 25% are Latino. And that's higher than the K-12 population of Latino students, just slightly, 24%. So that's over 1.1, closer to 1.2 million Latino students that are involved in JA year in and year out. African American students comprise 20% of JA's annual student membership, which is also slightly higher than the overall African American K-12 student population in the United States. And then for those of you that are really into the numbers and you're familiar with something called Title I students, and I know that many of our CSR groups in corporate America are very concerned about that. You know, this is roughly a designation that's based on qualifying for free or reduced lunches. 42% of JA students every year are classified as Title I students, and the overall population, K-12 in the U.S., is only 37%. So we're reaching more students in that Title I population than other organizations. Today's JA is not like the JA you may remember when you were growing up, and certainly with those numbers you can see that. In order to fulfill JA's mission of inspiring and preparing young people to succeed in a global economy, we focus on three core areas: workforce readiness, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship. And so while the materials and experiences that JA delivers to students is world-class, our secret sauce is the volunteer, the mentor, the role model that goes in and breathes life, real-world experiences into that classroom experience that the students have. So they share those personal experiences with the students, and they have a great time doing it. And I know I chatted with several people during cocktail reception tonight, and many of you have taught JA, so you know what it's all about. These mentors, these role models to these students are so important to what we do. Now, the retention rate, you may be interested to know, of JA volunteers is actually very high. We get a large number coming back, and they tell us, you know, we learned as much as the students did about this program. So the Alpha JA partnership is going to benefit millions of Latino youths over the coming weeks, months, and I'm going to say years, because we see this as an ongoing partnership. In doing so, it's going to strengthen our nation and our collective ability to compete globally. Working with Charlie and his team, we look forward to engaging volunteers from Alpha both strategically and operationally, both nationally and locally. So strategically, we're looking for many of you to join one of our 115 local J area boards across the country, or if you're a senior level executive with a global company, perhaps joining our national board of directors. Operationally, I hope that every one of you will consider serving as a volunteer in a JA classroom. So, you know, when you talk about Alpha, it's all about people. When you talk about junior achievement, it's all about people. And we have an interesting coincidental presentation tonight to show you what a small world it is. Because I'm now honored to present the 2015 Daniel Zamora Student of the Year Award. This special award is presented in memory of Daniel Zamora, Alpha's 2009 Student of the Year winner. Daniel was an active Alpha leader at Florida International University, and since 2012, Alpha has honored his memory and his legacy through the presentation of this award. Now, to help me present the award, please welcome to the stage Daniel's parents, Colin and Ilana, and his brother, Kevin. Now, you're going to see the Small World collection, because when Charlie told me who had been selected for this award, I wasn't surprised. I was actually quite pleased, as he's the same capable young man who received the Student of the Year Award for Junior Achievement back in 2012. He's faced many obstacles in life, but has risen above them with grace and accomplished more at his tender age than many do in a lifetime. At 20 years old, he is already a social entrepreneur, a youth advocate, and a community leader. He has been featured in NBC, ABC, PBS, C-SPAN, and the Wall Street Journal. He attends Babson College, the #1 entrepreneurship school in the United States, and this summer worked as an analyst in Goldman Sachs' private wealth division right here in New York City. He's been able to accomplish all this through his strong character, focus on education and entrepreneurship, support from his family, and by leveraging the opportunities offered to him through organizations like ALPFA and Junior Achievement and others who have invested in his success. We have seen this individual flourish from a shy boy to a confident young man with a very bright future. Please join me in congratulating the 2015 Daniel Zamora Student of the Year honoree, Josuel Placenta. Josuel, please come up on stage, receive the award.
Good evening, New York City. Thank you, thank you. Thank you. What an introduction that was, so thank you, Jack. Good evening. My name is Josuel Placencia, and I am a rising junior at Babson College, private wealth management summer analyst at Goldman Sachs, and co-founder of Project 99. Above all, I am a brother, a son, and a friend, and a fortunate member of the ALPFA family. Nonetheless, behind these titles, there is a story. As I look around this big, beautiful room, I see several who know me, but may not know my story. The room I grew up in was small. I can still see it now. A tiny attic with a bed, a fridge, an antenna TV, and an electric stove. This was not in any third world country, but in the business capital of the world, New York City. A story that started just a few miles from here, over the 59th Street Bridge in the inner city in Jackson Heights, Queens. Unlike thousands of students and kids you read about, encounter, or see in the city who are raised by a struggling single parent. In my case, mi mamá. Like them, I've struggled to overcome the social and economic limitations that try to shape and define me. Now, let's fast forward to my senior year of high school, as I found myself in the crossroads to the rest of my life. I had just cut my long hair and came back from living with my dad in the Dominican Republic and looking to find what I was going to do after college. In that moment, I stood between success and failure. It was at that time that I found out that I was a junior achievement kid, a JA kid. Throughout high school, I had participated in business competitions, mentorship programs, financial literacy opportunities that were all led by JA. At one of these job shadowing events at PwC is when I met Josue Napa. Josue was one of the first Latinos, if not the first Latino, I had met in a corporate environment. Before that, it all looked one way. During the job shadow day, I had very lengthy conversations with lots of people. And my conversation with Josue was actually the shortest I had that day. And I remember it like it was today. He went up to me and he asked me for my name. And I said, my name is Josuel. And he said, very interesting. My name is Josue. We laughed, as you can imagine. And then he went on to proceed to ask me if I knew about ALPFA. Thinking it was a fraternity, I did not lie and I said, I don't know. He then proceeded to give me his card and asked me to send him an email. It was the shortest conversation I had that day, by far. But it was the one that changed my life. Next thing you know, I had a Cuban lunch with Josue. And after my high school graduation, he set me up with a free ride to the 2013 Alpha DC convention. So there I took a ride with his friends, Carlos and Carolina Ledesma, who became the second and third members of Alpha that I had met. Now that I had a free ride to the Alpha convention, I used all of my savings, and I mean putting my bank account to zero, to pay for my ticket to the convention. Then, when in the hotel, we called the first floor concierge to get extra sheets so I could make my own bed. And to put it in simple terms, the rest was history. This is where the bridge from being a JA kid to being part of the Alpha Familia was complete. It was the perfect bridge from high school to college, and it happened that summer. I don't want to get off script, but I was joking with Jack that you cannot make this stuff up. It's amazing. And when you've been living in the room for a long time, if you are lucky, you're given a clear choice. You can make yourself small to fit it, or you can use it as motivation to break down the door. I thankfully had two families that made it happen for me. My mom always pushed me to make the most of my opportunities in the United States. Y por eso, mami, who's over here, te quiero, te amo, eres la persona que lo hiciste posible para mí, y por eso te doy las gracias. And I have my second family, my Alpha family. People like Josue, people like Carlos and Carolina, and like so many of you in this room that have made it possible for me. Because of many of you in this room have opened the door, and I stand ready to step out and leave the room behind me. I am determined to be the first one in my family to nail a college diploma to the wall. Nothing and no one will discourage me. Everyone in this room has been blessed with opportunities to succeed. Let's not waste this opportunity to be that Josue, to give back and give a young person a chance at success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Please welcome to the stage Ray Gonzalez, Director of Enterprise Risk Services for Deloitte and a member of Alpha's Board of Directors.
I see the lights tonight, we're together now. I'm better, so much.
And I thought those applause were for me. Leadership is not a 9-to-5 job. True leaders go above and beyond their expected duties to make a positive impact to improve their community and the lives of people they touch. Tonight, I am happy to present Alpha's 2015 Servant Leadership Award to someone who exemplifies leadership, Daniel Yip, founder and owner of Nexus Business Consulting. To serve is among the noblest of causes. This award recognizes an Alpha member who has excelled in their service, contribution, leadership to Alpha, and we could not think of a better servant leader than Daniel. Many of you may not know him because he often remains in the background, dedicating countless hours to Alpha's mission without seeking accolades or recognition. A lifetime member of Alpha and a longtime member of the board of Alpha Miami chapter, Daniel has served
ALPFA beyond his local chapter, and instrumental resource to the ALPFA staff during the technology transformation that has taken place over the past year. For all he does and will continue to do for ALPFA and its members, please join me in congratulating Daniel Yip, 2015 recipient of ALPFA's Servant Leadership Award. Daniel?
I remember a story from my time growing up outside of Boston, Massachusetts. I was attending high school. My mother gave me another one of her insightful life lessons, this time on service. She told me that service is about giving of oneself to others, and though one side of the reward is about how that service makes you feel, the more important side is how it makes others feel. As a high school kid, I may have heard what she said, but it wasn't until later in my life that I truly understood the full meaning of those words. Now, I stand here today, continuing to feel the impact of her wisdom she shared those many years ago. That lesson taught me the importance of service, as well as the importance of giving of oneself to empower others to do their best. This desire is something all of us in our Alpha Familia share. My ALPFA story began in 2009 with being recruited by the then ALPFA Miami chapter president. I had to say yes to that recruiting because the chapter president was my cousin, Maria Yip. As I got to know the ALPFA Miami group, I began to believe deeply in ALPFA's mission to build and empower Latino leaders. In these 6 years plus, I have relished serving with my fellow board members to help build leaders in the South Florida area. Together with people like Brett Friedman, Robert Ruiz, Rodrigo Mota, Natalia Marco, Giselle Yanelli, Jaime Chavez, and countless others, I've been able to serve our local community. With ALPFA, an organization of leaders for leaders, I have served others through our events, our partnerships, our new mentoring programs, and our day-to-day operations. I see the fruits of service every day as I see new students join, students become professionals, professionals mature, and together, all of us growing not only as individuals, but also as members of our Latino community. I am both honored and humbled to have been selected as the recipient for this award. I want to thank those who have helped me on my journey in realizing that lesson my mother taught me so long ago. I want to thank my parents for all that they have done to show me that hard work and sacrifice are essential to being able to advance and achieve in this world. My parents left Cuba, leaving family and friends, and throughout their lives, my parents have had to work hard and make sacrifices to be able to advance both of their lives as well as those of their 2 children. I want to thank my ALPFA colleagues at ALPFA Miami for not only believing and trusting in me to achieve chapter goals, but also for being part of my ALPFA Familia. I want to thank ALPFA leaders like Julio Carbonell and Lori Ruff, who continually provide me the opportunity to grow within ALPFA by helping with key organizational initiatives that have lasting impact. Lastly, I want to thank my fiancée, Ana Ruano, for all of her support and love. Without her strength, love, and caring, I cannot be the person I am today, and with whom I cannot wait to write our continuing story together. I encourage you to give of yourself each day to serve others. It takes no degree, certification, or membership to serve. All you need is a heart with the passion to give. The reward for yourself will be great, but the impact of your service to others will be even greater. Why? Because your service to others helps to make this world that much better. To serve is to lead. My Alpha story continues to be written, but the story so far has been an amazing one. Thank you, Alpha, for this recognition.
Please welcome to the stage Joe Kosinski, Director, Corporate Manufacturing, Accounting, and Customs and Trade Compliance for Abbott. And he's also a member of Alpha's Corporate Advisory Board.
Good evening. It's my honor to present this year's Outstanding Service to Alpha Award to an Alpha colleague I have known and worked with for many years. This person demonstrates leadership through his service. He inspires members by promoting Alpha's mission and values within his company, where he works, and within his community. Our awardee is a lifetime Alpha member who has served the organization in many roles, including President of Alpha's Boston chapter, and recently as a member of Alpha's Board of Directors. He has been a strong champion for Alpha within his company and a great spokesperson for the power which Alpha yields in developing strong Latino leaders for our nation. He played a pivotal role in Alpha's search for our CEO. The CEO search committee greatly benefited from his human resource experience and from his time invested in piloting the process which led to our hiring of Charlie Garcia. Personally, when we need his advice and counsel, he has always been accessible to me and to many of you here at this gala. That's what servant leaders do. He is Managing Director, Head of Diversity Consulting and Sourcing Office and Workforce Development at State Street Corporation. Please join me in welcoming the 2015 Outstanding Service to Alpha Award winner, my friend, Paul Francisco.
Buenas noches. Thank you, Joe. I'm truly grateful to Alpha and the Award Selection Committee for this recognition. It is truly an honor for me to share the stage with the rest of these amazing honorees. Congratulations to you all. It is hard to capture in 3 minutes what Alpha has meant to me for the last 14 years. Mahatma Gandhi's famous quote is the best way that I can describe what Alpha has done for me. And it reads, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Tonight for me is very special and something that will become one of the highlights of my Alpha story. These past 14 years have been an amazing experience that has allowed me to grow as a person, professional, and a leader. Alpha gave me the confidence, the network, the insights, and the development I needed to progress in my career. This award is not something that I feel I deserve alone. No one's able to serve Alpha the way that we do were it not for a network of people who are behind you, giving you the love, comprehension, and support you need to give more of yourself. There are many who sacrificed alongside me to ensure we made Alpha better and a better organization. It has always been my belief to always leave things better than what you found them, and I truly feel that I have been able to do that in every role I have had with Alpha. Tonight, I receive this on behalf of all those people who served alongside me. My fellow Boston Chapter Committee and board members with whom I had the pleasure to serve, my former national board member teammates who are currently serving as stewards to this organization. I have never known a group of more dedicated people who freely volunteer their time and treasure. They deserve a lot of our recognition as they, time after time, ensure that this organization continues to lead the way in developing Latino leaders. The sacrifices that each of them makes rarely goes acknowledged, and I'm proud to have served with them. I also like to share this award with people who I've always viewed as making Alpha the special organization it is, and who have always been there to provide guidance. People like Joe Kosinski, Joe Mella, Ed Morales, Eduardo Tobon, Rene Jarquin, Carol Sanchez, and countless others. These folks, through the years, directly or indirectly, have taught me the value of service.
Lastly, I'd like to thank the person who has had the patience to deal with me for these past 10 years. She has been my steady and quiet supporter. She allowed me to be who I am and has had to put up with me many times when Alpha took me away from her or our kids. To my wife, Betty, thank you. I'm sharing this award with you. I'd like to leave you with another quote from a lesser-known person that captures my sentiment about the meaning of service. I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. Muchas gracias.
Please welcome to the stage Yvette O'Brien, U.S. Controller at Mastronardi Produce and a member of Alpha's Board of Directors.
Buenas noches. As a proud Latina who has gained great value from our Women of Alpha programming over the years, I am particularly honored to present the 2015 Women of Alpha Award. This award recognizes someone who has enthusiastically promoted the advancement of Latinas and who personifies the qualities for successful professionals: leadership, vision, and character. Tonight's honoree holds a high-level, high-pressure role as the Global Corporate Services Executive for Bank of America, yet makes time to be a champion for women and for Latinas. Among her many leadership roles advocating for diversity and women, she serves on the bank's Global Diversity and Inclusion Council and is an executive sponsor of the Charlotte chapter of Lead for Women. She consistently offers and is willing to help Latinas reach successful levels of leadership. An active member of the Charlotte chapter of Alpha, she agreed a year ago to help establish and chair the chapter's first corporate advisory board, providing leadership and strategic advice to the chapter's president and executive board members. She has given advice, support, and resources to the chapter and its leadership. She's a major supporter of both the Women of Alpha programming and the Latina Summit. And the outcome of these efforts are a testimony that her influence, vision, and character have inspired and continue to inspire Latinas beyond her organization and beyond her Alpha chapter. In recognition of her commitment to the advancement of Latinas, please join me in congratulating the 2015 Woman of Alpha awardee, Patty Clement.
Okay, I haven't heard that song in a long time. Thank you for that kind introduction. I'm honored to be joining you all tonight and for being nominated for this award. When they first notified me, I was speechless, and I continue to be quite humbled by it. I would not be here today without the support of my family, mentors, and some wonderfully supportive bosses who have continued to challenge me over the years. Throughout my life, I've watched as colleagues and friends felt less appreciated or confident in sharing their experiences or their backgrounds. Witnessing those moments and experiencing those moments myself made me a passionate advocate for appreciating diversity in all aspects of life. Diversity means many things to many people, but to me, it is not just about the color of your skin or the culture in which you grew up in, but it's about the different experiences that are unique to each and every one of us. You've heard by 2050, the Latina, Hispanic population was expected to double. My question is, do you want to wait that long to see fair representation in your schools, in our companies, in senior leadership roles, and in the C-suite? This change is going to happen. The question is, will it happen when and how we need it? That is unlikely unless each and every one of us makes an effort to get involved. We all bring something of value to the table, our experiences, whether they be positive or negative. What is important is what we learn from those. Mentors are a phenomenal resource, and any experience you have had is a learning opportunity for someone. You will be amazed at what people take away from the simple stories that we tell. I was lucky enough to work in my career to work for a company who believes in empowering our diverse employees so that we can all reach our full potential. Bank of America is better because of the variety of experiences our employees bring to us each and every day. I also believe that organizations like ALPFA that help members of our community connect and grow sets them apart from others. We have a long-standing relationship with ALPFA, and together, with all of us in this room representing our schools and our companies, together we can accomplish great things. I am constantly inspired by the people that I meet, the talent and potential that I see, and I continue to want to be a part of that change. I hope that through sharing my story and all of you sharing your stories, we will continue to make a difference in our workplace and our communities. So I'll leave you with the comment that I said at the lunch the other day: be the change that you all want to see. Thank you.
Please welcome to the stage Gennaro Perez, Managing Director of Strategic Accounts for Resources Global Professionals and a member of ALPFA's Board of Directors.
Hola, mi gente. How you guys doing? How you feeling? I tell you, I drank the ALPFA Kool-Aid a long time ago. In fact, this is my 19th consecutive convention. I haven't missed one since 1996. And I was in Vegas when we were a handful of people with a karaoke machine for the Gala. And so that was a long time ago. We've gone a long way. And I will tell you that, Charlie, when he shared with me that he wanted to get CEOs more involved with ALPFA, I thought to myself, let me call my guy. And I know he's busy running a global consulting firm, a publicly traded consulting firm, but maybe he'll come to New York and be part of this. And so I called him and said, hey, Tony, I think you'd be great to come here to New York and present one of the awards. And without hesitation, Tony said, send me the dates, I'll be there, and let me know what you want to do, what you want me to do for you. So it was a great phone call, and when he asked, hey, what else can I do for you, I thought, well, that's nasty. I have to come back with something else then, right? And so I said, well, ALPFA right now is going through a data migration, and they're doing it on the backs of interns and part-time folks. And so, with Tony's blessing, we were able to give 300 hours to ALPFA to help them with their migration, and we're not going to send them a bill. So that's the good call. And I did, that's actually... I did ask for a couple of VIP tables and some tickets, but it's hard to get those things. So I did make that request, but Tony is here. Tony is the CEO and president of RGP. He really, leads our senior team. He started his career with RGP in 2005, and prior to that, he was a partner at Deloitte. So announcing today's Most Promising Business Award is Tony Cherbak.
Thank you, Gennaro. It's a pleasure to be here tonight with you and all of this wonderful audience. Because hiring the best and brightest talent is so important to our business, I was glad when asked to introduce the next award, ALPFA's Most Promising Business Professional. This award is presented to someone who demonstrates strong leadership skills, is viewed by peers as a future leader in his or her own industry, and is a strong advocate for diversity as shown in continuous commitment to ALPFA. This young man embodies those qualities and much more. Recently promoted to partner at New York Life, he leads a business unit focused on transnational planning for foreign investors and has oversight of business development and recruitment within the Hispanic, Brazilian, African American, and LGBT markets. He serves as president of the ALPFA Orlando chapter, which, by the way, was selected as this year's leading chapter of the year. In his spare time, he serves as regional director for ALPFA's South region, providing strategic guidance and support for other professional chapter presidents. In 2012, he was recognized as one of the Central Florida's 25 most influential Hispanics by the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Metro Orlando. Please join me in welcoming to the podium ALPFA's 2015 Most Promising Business Professional, Hector Perez.
Good evening. Put this right here. There's no room to put it. I apologize. Well, good evening. Tonight I'm receiving this award. Not receiving this award simply as an Alpha member. I'm receiving it as someone who has been a product of what we preach at Alpha. I'm a result of the concerted effort to empower and develop Latino men and women as leaders of character for the nation in every sector of the global economy. I accept this award today, yet I can't help but remember that 7 years ago, I was simply showing up to work. I was having no influence, no impact, not changing people's careers, directions, or personal life choices. I now have influence on those very decisions in my city, in my region, and throughout the country on a daily basis, all because I found Alpha, and because Alpha became such an important part of me. I became involved and engaged when I found a group of people across the country who believe in building Latino leaders, and I'm forever grateful for that. I do have to thank some people that are in this room who were part of that process. Thank you to Gabby Ortegoni. I can't see you, Gabby. I know you're here. Of the Hispanic Business Initiative Fund for being that Alpha leader who went out of her way, found me, and brought me to this wonderful organization. The course of my life has been changed because of you, Gabby, and because you approached me, engaged with me, and showed me the value of Alpha. I want to thank Ted Mathis, the CEO of New York Life, who came out to present me with this award earlier in the week, as well as Anya Zavala and Hector Vilches of the Latino market at New York Life, for supporting my involvement in Alpha, knowing that through this work, we could open the door for impacting even more Hispanic individuals, families, and businesses across the country. Thank you, Alpha Orlando, for becoming part of my fabric, part of my person, part of my core. I'll end with this. If you don't have an Alpha story of your own, start writing it right now. If you haven't started your Alpha experience, do it right now. If you haven't started building and developing leaders, what are you waiting for? And to our corporate partners, my message is the same. Your financial contribution, when combined with your involvement and engagement, leads to building leaders. But you must be involved, you must be engaged, and you must write your Alpha story too. We stand ready at Alpha to help you write that story. Thank you, and good night.
I'm on here to first to apologize because our program has run very late. And I'm going to make a command decision here, which is going to make my SVP back there of conventions very uncomfortable. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask the servers to come in and pick up your salad and serve your dinner. And in about 20 minutes, I'm going to come back up and I'm going to deliver the state of the state so you can eat. And we're going to have a working dinner. So that's what we're going to do. Enjoy yourself. Hello, everyone. Now it's where I need your cooperation. And I know it'd probably be really interesting to keep talking to your partners, but I will ask for your attention, and maybe I'll start with, when I went to Junior Achievement, and they introduced me, and I walked up there, I said, let me talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is, who's this white guy talking to us? I thought he was Latino. And I explained to them that Latinos are white, brown, and black. We're not defined by skin color or religion. My distinguished board chair, Van Garcia, at a comedy club last night, served me up on a silver platter, and they had a lot of fun with that. I'm going to move very quickly, which is not what I would normally do, but I want to try to catch us up. I'm going to start with something that's not normally been done, and that's to give you a sense of what we did the first days of the convention when you weren't here. We started with the CEO Summit, Alpha's first CEO Summit, and it was really nice because we had global CEOs like Gerald and Jay. They're really fierce competitors, State Street and BNY Mellon, and they were acting like friends. And they actually like each other, and they put down their swords and shields to work together. Sol Trujillo is a global CEO that has run 3 $40 billion market cap companies in 3 countries. And see, they're having a lot of fun. And it was actually just a great educational session. And we also had another session which was closed door. And in this closed door session, we had 10 global CEOs, 35 chief diversity officers, 7 chief human resources officers, all being moderated by a wonderful executive and chief diversity officer, Jyoti Chopra from BNY Mellon. What a great job she did. On Friday, we had great programming. We had an 8-hour MBA, which, went all day for our professionals. And we also had 2 speakers, Daniel Gutierrez and also Jeffrey Shavitz, who released here at convention 2 brand new books. First time ever. Brand new books here. And anybody, including you, can go to joinalpha.org until tomorrow and download these 2 books for free. Joinalpha.org. Another thing that we did is I believe that Alpha is not only a strong symbol of our Latino brand, but our Latino brand needs to be protected. So we have someone that's been out there. He's our favorite billionaire bully who's been saying a lot of things about Latinos. And the question is, how do you engage someone like this? So what we did in a very nice way was we had somebody write an opinion editorial, Rick Sanchez, and this came out on Friday. And I had also invited Donald Trump to come to the convention to explain himself. And this is how Rick closed. This Friday night, thousands of members of the Association of Latino Professionals for America will be meeting in New York City for their annual convention. These Hispanic professionals and students are Republicans, Democrats, independents alike from all over the country, and I wait for you on stage. They say a picture says 1,000 words. Rick had a 3-hour show on CNN, and only Larry King had higher ratings. Aside from Rick Sanchez, the only other person that could take him on is Mr. Ramos, but his Spanish a little bit better than his English. So since he didn't arrive, what we did is we had a 20-minute amazing presentation of why our brand and why we just get kicked around in the media all the time, and it was very illuminating. Frank Sanchez, who's the Vice Chancellor of Student Affairs for the CUNY system, also brought 300 of his students. We ended the night with a great movie that Disney came out with called McFarlane USA. I also sent this to Mr. Donald Trump. Maybe he would sit down and watch it. And this movie is really what the Mexican-American values in this country are all about. And I sat here with all of Alpha to watch this movie, and it is a great movie. And this is what Alpha is going to be about. No one is going to attack our Latino brand, and we're not going to stay silent anymore. In a very respectful manner, we're going to go after them. Saturday was Women of Alpha Day. It was an amazing day. We opened up with various panels. We then had Nina Vaca here. She was being interviewed by CNN correspondent. It was just fabulous. It had a lot of teary eyes in the room. Even the Latino men in here were crying, so don't say you weren't. We had our great signature Alpha Got Talent event. We had great judges, and this young man, Leo Pascal, won Alpha's Got Talent. The hardest part was when my 17-year-old daughter Amparo said, "Hey Dad, why don't you use your influence? I want to meet that guy tonight." That was tough. Let me tell you what happened on Sunday. In New York, many years ago, 2001, we did this particularly for the younger students in the crowd. We thought since it was our first time in New York that we should go to the 9/11 memorial. Back when I was in business, our largest client was on floors 101 through 105. And I had many, many dear, close personal friends that died that day. So we decided, our senior leadership team, board, and corporate advisory board, to go down, and we brought in a pastor, Joseph Andino, who led us through to remember not only the victims that day, but also the first responders, and particularly also the veterans that died in response. No time in our country's history has more first responders died in any tragedy of this kind. We walked, and I remember thinking that on May 2nd, 2011, I was sitting with my partner, Sol Trujillo, and a CNN called me and said, "Charlie, where are you?" So I'm in Washington, D.C. "Great, we need you to go into CNN right away because the president is coming on, and we're not sure if Osama bin Laden has been captured, but we're going to get information soon." I said, "Well, why are you calling me?" I said, "Well, it's Sunday night. There's no one else around." So I spent the next 2 hours on the air, and what we did for lunch when we came back after the ceremony is we had an amazing presentation about leading high-performance teams, and the individual we brought was Senior Chief Petty Officer Rob O'Neill, a Navy SEAL who's done over 1,000 parachute jumps. He's personally trained 800 Navy SEALs, 400 combat missions in 4 theaters, 52 military decorations, a real American hero whose actions have been featured in 3 recent movies, Lone Survivor, Zero Dark 30, and Captain Phillips. It was an amazing presentation right here in this room. And the other thing that we did is that we supported a nonprofit that he started, and the nonprofit is called Your Grateful Nation. And we gave him $10,000 on behalf of ALPFA. We said last year we want to create a culture of philanthropy. These are the goals that were set out for the foundation. He wanted to get 100 mentors to work with veterans, special operators, who are the Navy SEALs and others, and 40 corporate recruiters. So he taped something for me, and I told him that our goal is not to do that in a year. Our goal was to do that in 1 day to show him the power of ALPFA.
Hello, I'm Robert J. O'Neill, former SEAL Team 6 team leader and co-founder of YourGratefulNation.org, where we help special operators transition from the military to the private sector. What I'd like to ask of ALPFA today is 3 things. 1, if you're a mentor, please help us at alpha.org/help-a-vet. 2, if you're a recruiter and you're looking to hire some of these fine people, again, we can use your help at alpha.org/help-a-vet. And 3, if you could donate to us at yourgratefulnation.org/donate, we'd be forever grateful. Thank you.
It was very special for him to be here. So if you're a mentor or recruiter, you can still do it now, even though you weren't there, at alpha.org/help-a-vet. And this is his goal, and let me tell you what we were able to do for Your Grateful Nation. The Power of ALPFA Way, 185 mentors and 81 corporate recruiters. Who am I to tell a Navy SEAL he needs to have higher goals, but he's going to. On Monday, today, many of you participated. You know what happened here. We had a great event with great students. We had the director of the CIA here talking to us. They've had some challenges, and we are going to work with them. Our previous convention record, 2,812 in Las Vegas in 2012. Our new record. Thank you, gentlemen. Let me give you some highlights. I have 7 minutes and 22 seconds, or else the hook is coming out. So I'm going to go very quickly. I'd like my senior leadership team to stand up. Most all these faces are new, and if you're out there, please stand up. None of this could happen without you. Emma Campo, Lenny, my chief of staff. All right. Thank you very much. Emma's nickname is Samurai Mom, and she is good. She keeps us on track. So we completed a 2-year audit. Interesting to come into an organization that has a lot of accountants but hadn't done an audit for a few years. So we did that. Moss Adams is one of the top 10, 11 firms in the country, and they audit 1,200 nonprofits, and we work with the audit partner, and we came out with a clean audit, which was awesome. Last year's membership was 2,300. That's what I told the world, and our goal in 3 years was to get to 100. So of course, we're relentless about execution, but we also measure everything. So we did an audit of our numbers, and unfortunately, the real numbers were about 12,500. And I wouldn't be honest if I wouldn't tell you the truth. That is what we found, and we weren't communicating with a lot of it because of our communications were broken, which is why I hired Julio Carbonell, my first hire, former CIO of Major League Baseball. Our brand wasn't working. My second hire was our chief branding officer, Lori Ruff, ranked 7 in the world by CEO World. Those type of people. And let me tell you what we were able to accomplish. Alpha's new membership model, we have a membership model which is a freemium. It's a basic plus a premium. And you know, our corporate clients want and our corporate partners want our members. And our membership revenues were only bringing in 1.8% of our overall revenues. So we changed our membership model, and this is what is reflected today in total membership in our new membership platform. 63,822 members. But the story doesn't end there, because Lori Ruff has written 4 books on LinkedIn, which is a good platform for us to use. And when I came into Alpha, we had 4,000 members thereabouts on LinkedIn. Today, we have 20,000, 40% that aren't in YM. We've done sample studies of this. So 40% of 20,000 is 8,000. So our total audited numbers today is about 72,000 members. But that doesn't tell the whole picture. You see, I gave a presentation actually last month in Chicago to Bank of America, and at the end of the presentation, they said, you know, with this new membership model, we have 8,200 Latino professionals. What if Alpha extended a basic membership to them? I said, we'd love to. And of course, I had to let Wells Fargo know, and others, and now everybody wants a basic membership. So if your name isn't up here, talk to me, talk to one of our staffs, because all your competitors are going to have members at Alpha soon. So this is bringing in all the ERGs now. I have visibility on quite a nice number. And there's one other partnership that we announced, and that's with HBIF, which brings us 15,000 Latino business owners. This organization has been around 25 years in Florida, and that's happening this year. We have a signed memorandum of understanding, and that takes us to 100,000 pretty clearly by the end of the year. That is what we're able to do in 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. So my management team made me look real bad. I promised that I wasn't going to give you the big goal that I'm thinking about yet, but the night isn't over yet. But I'll leave it at that for now. Next, our brand influence. There is, anybody can go to something called Hashify, and I'll show you how to do it, and you can put in where you're at in terms of your brand influence on Twitter, on all the different social media platforms. It measures the strength of your brand from 0 to 100. We were at 4 when we came in. This is what an average nonprofit is at, about 24.5. And I'll let you know real quick what our team was able to do. And this is in 1 year. This is Alpha's brand today. But one of my biggest frustrations with Alpha this year has been getting the males at Alpha to keep up with our women. Really, really sad. Our women really outperform all the time. Women of Alpha, more than half of our membership, and they are really great. But our goal isn't to be one of the top Latino nonprofits. Our goal is to be one of the top nonprofits in the United States. So where we're shooting for next year is, these are some of our corporate partners. So you see our corporate partners tend to be in the 50s because they have billions of dollars, but we're not going to let that stop us because we're coming after you, and we're going to announce this next convention, so I hope you guys take up your game. And this is where anybody can go. We're all about measurements. If you go to hashdefy.me, you'll see it. We have some strategic partnership. Latino Leaders Magazine, we announced during the convention. I just talked about HBIF, MLT, and you heard a little bit about junior achievement. I'm going to show you the power. I'm coming to an end here with this. So Jack and Jack's chief operating officer have a partnership with Gallup. And they've just started to pilot this partnership in 7 of their cities. I've been a big proponent of Strength Finders. I've taken it for 10 years. I followed Gallup. They're another brand that I would love to put Alpha with. The biggest problem that we have today as Latinos is that our corporate partners are only recruiting from 40 to 60 colleges and universities. There's 4,000 colleges and universities, and study after study has shown, including one from the Bureau of Labor Statistics last week, 4-year study done in Texas, that our best Latino talent are not going to the Ivy Leagues. They're going because of culture and financial reasons to the college or university closest to their home. So the assumption that you're getting the best talent in the world by going to those 40 or 60 schools is flawed. But I don't know how to solve it because you don't have unlimited budgets. So with this test, Strength Finders, first of all, imagine if we could test our students. And remember, the biggest thing that Junior Achievement has is a distribution platform. So I already proposed to a couple of their partners, what if we could use this instrument as a solution? And talking to their scientists last week for several hours, this instrument was tested globally. It's 7 years testing it, and it has an 80% success rate with only 20% false positive. For every 100, 5 come out as high potentials, but for every 1,000, they have 3, what they call freaks. These are the Steve Jobs that are out there, the people that create Airbnb and all these other companies. So imagine if we tested 25,000 Latino high school students through Jack's distribution platform, and we found 3 out of 1,000, which is 125 Steve Jobs Latinos all over corporate America. They're going to be rough around the edges like Josue, yes, but somebody found me, the Air Force Academy in Panama, some kid called Garcia. They offered me a 4-year full ride, and I had to serve for 5 years. So why don't our corporate partners offer these freaks a 4-year or 3-year or 4-year scholarship where every summer they go work for those companies and they give back 3 years. So there's already 2 of their corporate partners who are very interested in funding this. It costs $12 a test, that's $3 million. There's scholarships and so forth. But these two partners, one is a technology behemoth and another one is a bank, they're not partners of ours. So this is a coming attraction, this is a new thing, but this is the power of partnerships. So that gives you a little view of where we're going and some exciting things that we may be able to do. And with that, I'm wrapping up. I have another presentation later. Thank you very much.
Please welcome back to the stage your Master of Ceremonies, Joe Mella. Thank you, Charlie. Now we continue what has become a tradition here at the Alpha Convention. The moment when a lucky person gets the keys to that brand new Mercedes-Benz. But all traditions evolve over time, and in the past we have raffled off that Mercedes and other prizes. This year, Alpha and Mercedes have partnered to create a unique contest that has helped grow Alpha's membership and increased their engagement. You see, in order to have a chance of winning this beautiful car, contestants had to ensure that they were already a member of Alpha. They joined the Alpha LinkedIn group. Students needed to upload their resumes. and you had to write a short statement on what Alpha means to them. Hopefully not everybody mentioned Devon Garcia in their statement. To announce the winners of this year's special contest, please welcome to the stage my friend, Alpha's friend, Tommy Sheet, Diversity and Inclusion Officer for Mercedes-Benz, and Rodolfo Dominguez, President of Michigan and Chapter and Enterprise Portfolio Management for Mercedes-Benz Financial Services.
Thank you, Joe. I'm pleased to say that since 2002, we've been happy to support Alpha by giving a lucky winner the chance to experience the best or nothing by driving their own Mercedes-Benz vehicle. So let's announce the winners.
All right, good evening. So this year's, let's take a look, right? We have 3 prizes. So this year's grand prize is a choice of an either 2016 Mercedes-Benz CLA 250 4MATIC or a beautiful convertible Mercedes-Benz SLK 300. So let's take a look. First at your screens.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel.
Strap on your seat and get ready to go. I gotta pay my Amy prices. I don't ever look at the prices. My Super Bowl tickets are priceless. You know who the king of the night is. Beautiful music for you to go nowhere. Birds fly high, you know how I feel. That is how I ride. My passenger fly. We take off in London, in London, Dubai. This is a marriage, and you my ride. My life is so lavish, you don't recognize. So let's go to a new day approaching. 80 million is the roller coaster. Want the recipe to this proposal.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So just a couple of housekeeping items. So the vehicle will be delivered through the winner's local dealership, just to make it easier. And of course, as I remind you every year, if you are not the lucky winner this evening, there's another way to drive a Mercedes-Benz vehicle. And please see your local Mercedes-Benz dealer. We have Kevin in the house, Mr. Kevin Fox, so please. Now the moment has come. So as I call your name for the lucky winners, if you are present, we're going to ask you to please come forward and join us here on stage. And we're going to start off with the third prize. So the third place prize, the winner of a 2016 Alpha Convention travel package and a Dell tablet. And the winner is Zarima Kozugova. Zarima. She's in the room. All right, beautiful. Now, off to the second place winner of a luxury all-inclusive stay for 5 nights and 6 days for 2 adults at the Palace Resorts Moon Palace Golf Spa Resort in Cancun, Mexico. And the winner is Mr. Noel Garcia. Noel, please join us on stage. Now, let's announce the winner of this evening's grand prize. And ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the Mercedes-Benz 2016 Alpha Convention is Mr. Bruno Silva. Where's Bruno?
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air.
Congratulations, Bruno. So here, we got something for you. Here you go. Here's a key. So there you go. Thank you for your support.
And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they say yeah. Cause all I do is win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air. All I do is win.
Thank you, Tommy and Mercedes, for that continuous support of Alpha. Each year, Alpha's Career Fair brings opportunities for individuals to start new careers or take their career in a new direction. This year, McGladrey hosted Personalities Wanted competition during the Career Fair. Individuals created videos explaining why they were interested in pursuing their career. Unfortunately, I was not selected. But let's see those results.
My name is Katie Carabeo, and I'm from sunny Miami, Florida. Alpha is probably what gave me a lot of confidence in this industry. Like, I come and meet peers who have similar aspirations and actually do want to get to know me and know about my life in Miami, and I want to learn about their life in New York or Chicago. So being able to come here and meet a network of people who you might see later on is just, you can't put a price on it. It's great. I enjoyed performing in the talent show. My roommate and I decided to do a song from Wicked. We're in New York, we gotta do an ode to Broadway, and getting to meet the other professionals and students that also like to perform and are still very creative was a great experience, and it was my first time ever doing something like that, and it was rewarding because you get to meet people that are creative just like you, that are working in your similar industry, which a lot of people don't think a lot of creativity comes from being an accountant, but they're there, and I saw them, so I know who you are. Probably I laugh really loud, which is really embarrassing sometimes. I'm not being loud to be loud, it's just I guess that's how I am. It's Hispanics, sometimes we get a little carried away.
Please welcome to the stage Alpha's chairwoman, Yvonne Garcia.
Good evening, I am not Yvonne. My name is Sam Mascareno. I'm the tax leader for McGladrey in the West Region, and along with my partner, Sergio De La Fe, we have the honor of leading our OLA network for McGladrey, which is our Hispanic employee network. And we came here to meet employees, to meet students, and to try to hopefully inspire some students. We are the ones that are leaving motivated and inspired by the amazing stories that we heard. And I just want to tell every student and professional in this room, you're not crashing this party, you belong in this room, you belong in this profession, and we're so proud of all that we've heard and all the things you've done, and we can't wait to see you do amazing things in our profession. So give yourselves a hand for the amazing things that you're doing. As the fifth largest firm in the country, we focus on our people and our personalities. As we reminded you every time you open your hotel room, I think you'll agree with us that Katie did that in her video. Please give her a round of applause.
It is my honor to present the Executive of the Year Award this evening to a very special individual. This individual has promoted diversity within corporate America for over 2 decades and has always supported Alpha's mission. He has guided and helped countless Alpha members, including myself. One could say he has dedicated himself to helping others succeed throughout his entire career. He is a Senior Vice President and Manager of Diversity Talent Acquisition Strategy at Wells Fargo, and has worked for Nucor Corporation and Bank of America for over 27 years, where I had the privilege of meeting him. He's a member of several boards and was actually the founding director of our Charlotte chapter, and once even a member of our national board. He graduated magna cum laude from the University of Puerto Rico. Okay. That's okay. Come on, Puerto Ricos. Boricuas, where are you? Did Charlie tell you we're opening a second chapter in Puerto Rico? All right. He graduated from the University of Puerto Rico with a degree in accounting and has multiple professional certifications, including a CPA, CBA, CFSA, CIA, certified internal auditor, that is. And lastly, he's a fellow Six Sigma Black Belt. He's a native of Cuba, an amazing husband to Lisa, a great dad to Lauren, and a generous and caring friend to many. However, he's best known for his contagious smile and for inspiring so many of us to do our best. Please join me in congratulating my big brother, our 2015 Executive of the Year, Jose Garcia.
Muchas gracias. Yvonne, thanks for the nice introduction. It is such an honor to be introduced by you, someone I mentored early in your career. And I think they told me I have 25 minutes to talk. So before I begin, I want to congratulate all my fellow honorees. It is a great privilege for me to share this evening with each one of you, my ALPFA brothers and sisters. I also want to thank the ALPFA board, all of you, my ALPFA brothers and sisters, my wife Lisa, my daughter Lauren, her boyfriend Michael, Richard Henderson. Yes, she's taken. Sorry, guys. Richard Henderson, Wells Fargo Top Properties Executive, Irene Fang, Director of Strategic Analytics, my manager, Lance Laverne, Head of Wells Fargo Enterprise Talent Acquisition Strategy and Practice, his wife Marilyn, and all of my Wells Fargo team members here this evening, and all 275,000 team members around the world. Each of you has given me the opportunity to live the American dream and to have the privilege of leading diversity talent acquisition strategy for Wells Fargo. We often hear that success is a journey, and I want to share with you the abridged version of my path and how ALPFA has impacted me, a first-generation college graduate like many of you, and the product of two amazing Cuban immigrant parents who stress the importance of education, despite not finishing high school themselves. So indulge me by taking a moment to think back to October 4th through October 8th, 2003. Where were you? Ruth, I know where you were. How did that week change you? I'll never forget, because it was my very first ALPFA National Convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yes, give me a clap if you were there. From the moment I arrived, I knew I had found an incredible organization, Una Familia, a place where I belong. In just a few short days, I experienced the importance of working together as Latino leaders and the need to help other Latinos pursue their professional dreams. Over the past 12 years, I've had the privilege to mentor many ALPFA members, and it fills me with great pride to see many of you in the audience this evening. I will mention you all, Felipe, Maria, David, I know you're all there. I have also been lucky to be mentored and reverse mentored by many of you, and I'm extremely grateful for all the support and advice you provided over the years. When I decided to change career paths and move from capital markets operations to human resources, many of you were with me every step of the way. You gave me the courage to dream big and pursue my passion. It was because of you that today I head diversity recruiting for Wells Fargo. Before that, I headed diversity recruiting at a large financial institution and even did a 2-year tour of duty in the steel industry. And the journey continues. 1 year ago, I joined Wells Fargo, as I told you already, and I have my dream job with an amazing company that values me. I expect you have met many Wells Fargo team members over the past few days, and I know you exchanged business cards. Did you notice all the Wells Fargo business cards have the same message? Together we'll go far. Juntos llegaremos lejos. With this in mind, allow me to leave you with a simple but very important message. A great leader discovers people's true strengths and helps them develop. I expect great things from each and every one of you. I also expect you to bring along others in this journey. Seek mentors and sponsors who can help you go far. Become mentors and sponsors and advocates for others, and you'll never travel alone in the journey of success. Juntos llegaremos lejos. Together we'll go far. Muchas gracias.
Please welcome back to the stage, Charlie Garcia.
One of the things we talked about last year was creating a culture of philanthropy and ensuring that when America looks at Latinos, particularly Latino professionals, that we're constantly rebuilding the fabric of America. So this year, given our theme of global leadership, we are going to recognize Philanthropists of the Year. But first, we have some Latino nonprofits we want to recognize first. Milagros para Niños is a Boston-based nonprofit that's doing great work. Thank you for everyone in this room that's involved, Yvonne Garcia and many others, Rosalind Acosta. Another foundation that's doing great work, Latino Legacy Fund, has already given $100,000 away to 5 Latino nonprofits, also based in Boston. And also the Hispanic Heritage Scholarship Fund of Metro Orlando, Hector Perez and many of his leaders have been working on this nonprofit as well. So we have a lot of leaders doing great things in the community, but part of this convention is bringing individuals that are achieving at such a high level of performance that it will inspire all of us in this room to also work at that level. So the Philanthropist of the Year, it's a great honor to introduce someone who is very inspirational, Scott Harrison, founder and CEO of Charity Water, who's having a global impact in 24 countries around the world. He's been featured in Fortune Magazine, 40 Under 40, Forbes Magazine, Impact 30, and ranked number 10 by Fast Company in the 100 most creative people in business. Without further ado, please, Scott, come on out.
Please welcome to the stage Ray Gonzalez, Director of Enterprise Risk Services for Deloitte and a member of ALPFA's Board of Directors.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks, man. I'll take it for you.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. I am the last speaker standing between you and whatever's next. Kids at home, dogs. I better make this interesting. I met Charlie on Necker Island earlier this year. We were both invited to speak at a leadership conference. It's pretty cool getting to hang out with Sir Richard Branson. And he was kind enough to invite me tonight to share a little bit about the Charity Water story with you. I'm going to talk a little bit about my past. I'm going to talk about water around the world. And I'm going to talk about the organization and how we've tried to really innovate and help as many people get access to clean water. So I'll start with my personal story. I was born in Philadelphia, middle-class family. My parents used a cereal bowl to cut my hair. They thought that was a good idea. Mom and Dad absolutely loved each other. They were amazing. And when I was 4, we moved from the city to the suburbs, and this terrible tragedy happened to our family. Unbeknownst to us, this new house that we'd moved into had a carbon monoxide gas leak. And this basically invisible gas was rushing through the house. Now, my mom was amazing. She was a writer. I just remember her as Supermom. And she was fixing the house up, specifically the basement, breathing in these fumes. I was spending as little time in the house as possible. My dad was working long hours at a new job. And on New Year's Day, when I was 4, my mom walks across the bedroom and she collapses unconscious. And we rush her to the hospital, and after a long series of blood tests, they find these massive amounts of carbon monoxide in her blood. And thankfully for our family, it didn't kill her, but her immune system was irreparably destroyed. And she became an invalid from that point on. And I watched as a child Mom become allergic to the world. She would wear these charcoal masks. She was connected to oxygen. She was so sick that the print from books would make her sick. And I remember as a kid, we would hand her these books after we'd bake them in the oven to try to get the print smell out. And she would wear cotton gloves, and she'd put the books inside a cellophane bag. And then with her mask on, she could read. So family planning stopped because of this accident. She actually miscarried and then got sick. And my parents, because of their deep Christian faith, decided not to sue the gas company for negligence. They didn't want to become bitter, and they just believed that there was a reason for this tragedy. So I grew up kind of the perfect Christian kid. I mean, I was the caregiver to my mom. I was active in the youth group. I was doing all the right things, playing by the rules, until the age of 18. Now, I discovered this place, New York City, and I grew my hair long down to my shoulders. I joined a band, and I went prodigal, is really the only way to say it. 18 years of playing by the rules. Now it was time for me, time to look out for myself. So we moved to the city. Our band immediately breaks up because we hated each other. But I learned that there was this job here called a nightclub promoter, and you could get paid to drink for free. Your friends would drink for free. It was an extraordinary thing. All you needed to do was get the right people inside nightclubs, and people would pay you to do this. So the next 10 years of my life flashed by. This is a picture of me 10 years later in a VIP room. And I choose this photo because it shows really what an idiot I was at the time and what I thought was important. I am pretentiously holding out my Rolex watch in this photo so that the club photographer notices I have an expensive watch. We got paid $2,000 a month by Bacardi to be seen in public drinking Bacardi, another $2,000 a month by Bud to drink Bud in public. So this was my business partner. We were living the life. It was a little less glamorous at the after hours, somewhere around 5 or 6 in the morning or noon. So after a decade of utter rebellion, I have picked up every vice you can imagine. I've smoked 2 packs a day for 10 years. I have a cocaine problem. I have a gambling problem. I have a strip club problem. I have a pornography problem. I have a drinking problem. Everything short of heroin. And thankfully, I came to my senses on my after a decade, and I was on a trip to South America, and my parents have been, praying on there. And I have little old ladies at the church praying for a decade. We trained him right. He's got to come back. Well, finally, I realized on this kind of luxurious vacation, the legacy that I was leaving, the mess that I'd made in my life. I realized I was the most selfish, decadent, sycophantic person that I knew. And I started reading theology. I started rediscovering the Bible and faith, and decided to make this radical change. I sold all of my possessions, and I wanted to try to serve God again and serve the poor. So I began applying to the famous humanitarian organizations of the world. Scott Harrison, the nightclub promoter, is ready for you all. Guess how many said yes? 0. I couldn't volunteer anywhere. Finally, after months of applying, one organization said if I paid them $500 a month, I could volunteer. Guys, I couldn't make this stuff up. And I had to go to a country called Liberia that I'd never heard of. So I dusted off an NYU journalism degree, and I said, look, I have 15,000 people on my nightclub list. I've gotten them drunk for 10 years. What if I told them a news story? What if I told them the story of what your incredible doctors, I'm sure, are going to be doing? So I go into Liberia right after the war ends, Charles Taylor's 14-year civil war, coming with 14,000 UN peacekeeping troops. And I should say that before I embarked on the humanitarian mission, I quit everything in one go. I believed for me to kind of change my life and step into this new story, everything would have to go in one shot. And I never looked back. This was my new home. It was a hospital ship for 25 years that had sailed up and down the West African coast. Very simple idea. Bring the best doctors in the world to people with no access to medical care. Liberia at the time had one doctor for every 50,000 people. We have a doctor for 180 of us. So if you got sick in the country, you were in deep trouble. This is what it looked like to live in post-war Liberia. This was a typical apartment building. This was a typical house. Once beautiful, missing roofs, missing windows. And before the ship sailed in, a small advance team would fly around the country looking for sick people, looking for patients. And we specialize in massive facial tumor removal, flesh-eating disease, something I'd never heard of before, cleft palates, and facial reconstruction. So my third day on the mission, I was so excited to see who would come. The government had given us a football arena to screen the patients. And I roll up at 5:30 in the morning knowing that we have 1,500 surgery slots. And there are 7,000 people that have come for those 1,500 slots. And it hit me, we were going to turn away over 5,000 people. Many who had come walking over a month with the hope of seeing a doctor that could help them. So it was the first child I saw. He was a 14-year-old boy named Alfred, and he was suffocating to death on his own face. His mother had brought him first in line. She pulls out a photo and says, "This is my son now. 4 years ago, he was completely fine. And then this tumor started growing. There was no doctor to take him to, and he's about to die. Can you help?" And I remember just running in the corner crying. I'd never seen anything like this before. Yeah, I didn't know how to process this. And one of the doctors came over and kind of kicked me in the butt and said, "Look, New Yorkers are supposed to be tougher than this. You're going to see a lot worse than this, and the good news is we're going to be able to help Alfred." So I managed to get through the couple days of patient screening, documenting these patients, getting to know many of them. But a couple days later, I scrubbed up. I watched Alfred's surgery, and then I got to take him home about a week later with his new face and watch him heal. And it was an amazing experience. Day in, day out, wake up in the morning, go down on the ward, meet the patients of the day. Martha Leen told me she had a tumor, and she would have to carry a cloth in front of her face because people thought she was, they would stone her. They thought she was cursed when she walked out. And she needed a 40-minute surgery just to remove the tumor. So I spent a year there, I signed up for a second year, and then I started going into the villages, and I got my first taste of dirty water. I saw what people were drinking. And the people were drinking from swamps. I'd never seen anything like this before. Teenage girls like Howa getting water I would not give to my dog. I was selling $10 bottles of water in high-end clubs and watching kids drink from swamps and ponds and rivers. And I said to myself, no wonder everyone is sick. If people don't even have their most basic health needs met in these countries, no wonder things are growing on their face. So I came back after 2 years, from 28 to 30, working with Mercy Ships, with the idea for Charity Water. Now I'll talk a little bit about water, but hopefully not in the dry terms that I think some organizations communicate in. This is the stat today. 668 million people do not have access to clean drinking water. We can't process big numbers. It's hard to imagine 668 million people doing anything, let alone not having water. This is what it looks like. Kids like John Bosco in Rwanda drinking from his swamp. Kids in Ethiopia sharing water like this with their cattle. A girl in Honduras drinking water that looks more like chocolate milk. As you can imagine, when you drink water like this, you get sick. There are lots of waterborne diseases associated with bad water. Some you've heard of, like cholera. I had never heard of schistosomiasis before I started Charity Water. It is a fancy word for parasites or worms that infect 200 million people. This is what this actually looks like. This is a child in Kenya drinking water from the Molo River. She would throw up every time she would drink from this river. We watched in horror. We promised to try to find a solution. Took the water away from her. I gave it to a lab back here in New York City and asked them to put it under a microscope. And this is the slide they made of her water. And they said, we're not experts in all the amoebas and different kinds of protozoas. That water is alive that you sent us. No child should be drinking water that is moving in front of our face. Leeches were a huge problem, okay? I don't know how many of you wake up and think about leeches when you think about your water. This is a huge, huge problem for communities around the world. The women will hold out their hands, show us their leeches, say, the big ones we can always filter out, but sometimes the little ones will get through the filtration. The leeches like to crawl up to the back of the throat, and if you're a parent, you have two options. You either take a stick and you pry the leech, Or you give your kid a little diesel fuel. Enough to kill the leech and not injure your child. Excuse me, guys. I was passionate about education. I learned that half of the world's schools didn't have access to clean water. Half of the world's schools. So how good could your education be if there was no clean water and there were no toilets? And this was a huge problem for the girls who would drop out. And they would spend their entire day, sometimes up to 8 hours a day, walking senselessly for dirty water, 40 pounds on their back. The story that's impacted me the most on a personal level over the last 8 years was a story from Ethiopia. I learned about it when I was there on a visit. I was staying in a $4 or $5 a night hotel room. I've been to the country 25 times now. And the owner came out and started telling me about a 13-year-old girl who had committed suicide, had hung herself after spilling her water after an 8-hour walk. She didn't want to go back to the river. And I didn't think it could be true. Thought it was just a story to, wind up a foreign donor. Last year I went to live in her village to find out if it was true. I rented a donkey, I put a solar backpack on it, hiked 9 hours over the mountains to get to her village, pitched my tent, met her mom. Her mom told me the moment when they brought her 13-year-old daughter carried, wrapped in white on a stretcher, said she knew something horrible had happened, and she started throwing herself around her house in grief, injured her back, was never the same again. Sent me to go and meet her best friend that worked with her that day. Her best friend showed me the clay pots that they used to use. The pots have been now replaced with jerry cans, which aren't as heavy and don't break. Takes me to see the water source. The town Maida is at the top of a plateau. The water's all the way down in the bottom of a ravine. I get down there and there's a long line of women waiting for the little bit of water oozing out from this natural spring. Learned about her story. People remembered her and told me what she was like. And then they took me up to show the tree where they found her body many years ago. And for me, statistics, hard to understand. Try living in a village with 2,800 people who have never had access to water, simply because of where they're born. See a tree where a 13-year-old hung because she was too ashamed to let her family down because they were counting on the water to make dinner. And it'll bring it all to life for you. It's not about statistics. This is about people, and they have names, they have hopes, they have dreams. So luckily, this is a completely solvable problem. We know right now how to bring clean water to every single person on the planet. And there is no one-size-fits-all solution, but a lot of different things work. In Asia, for $65, you can build a bio-sand filter. Put dirty water in to these filters that the women make. They contribute $5 in 3 days of labor, and you get clean water out. Safe enough for you or I to drink. About $10,000, you can drill a well. And this is an amazing thing. It's kind of so simple. What the community doesn't have access to is $1 million of drilling equipment, compressors, trucks, rigs, the local hydrologists and the skilled labor. What they do have, they're living on top of the resource that can bring them health and life. And it's one of the most amazing things to be there in that moment when a community gets clean water for the very first time. These are celebrations, they're parties that often go on for days. People laughing, dancing, clapping, tears of joy. We say the organization that water changes everything. We believe it's one of the most transformative agents on the earth. If your kid is drinking clean water, they're healthier. It's pretty simple. If your kid has clean water in their school, they're getting a better education. If women are not walking hours every single day, they can turn that time into money and start small businesses, often earning $1 or $2 extra every single day. Some of them tell us they just spend more time with their kids, being better mothers, more time with their families. A lot of economic data out of the UN saying water actually makes people healthier, of course, but it makes them wealthier. finding every dollar invested in water and sanitation yields $4 to $12 to the local economy. And these incredible, incredible stories emerge. This woman, Helen, told us she felt beautiful for the very first time in her life because she finally had enough water for her face and her clothes. And she was always serving her family first, her kids and her husband, because they needed the water. She needed to cook, she needed to clean, she needed to garden, she needed to wash their clothes. She went last until there was clean water brought into her village. What I loved about the issue is I thought it was one of the very few things that could unite everyone in the world. Everyone in the world can stand for clean water. Everyone can stand for a woman like this to feel beautiful, having their most basic need met. This could cut across ethnic lines, it could cut across geographies, it could cut across race and religion, it could cut across politics. Everybody could stand for clean water. So I started the organization 8 years ago to try and make a big impact, and it was crazy to me that I could sell bottles of water in a nightclub for $10. And 663 million people were drinking mud because of where they were born. It didn't seem fair, and I thought maybe I could do something about it. It was a simple mission: end the water crisis. See a day on earth where no guy like me comes to end an evening like this and shows you those pictures. It doesn't exist. But the vision was also to reinvent the way people thought of charity, the way that they gave to charity. I came back as this 30-year-old on fire. I'd seen people saving lives in Ethiopia, and I tried to get my friends excited. And I learned they didn't trust charities. They didn't believe. And I would hear stories of black holes. I don't know where my money goes. I don't know how much will actually reach the people. And I thought there has to be a better way. So I had a couple big ideas. One was solve the money problem. Figure out how to give every single person a promise that every penny they give would go directly to the projects. I had no idea how we would do this at the time, but I opened up 2 bank accounts with $100 each and said, we will never touch the public's money. We will go so far to protect the integrity of the 100%, we will pay back credit card fees. So if you donated $1,000 and I got $960, we would make up the difference and send all $1,000 to the field. Somehow we'd find board members and sponsors and donors to get excited about covering the overhead and the operating costs. So nobody could ever use the objection, I don't know where my money goes, as a reason not to give. Second idea was to use the technology available today to show people where their money went. And we were lucky. We started the exact same year as Google Earth. Google would give us a free place to put every single water project we would ever fund and make it transparent to you guys. Any of you could walk into an REI, buy a $50 GPS device, and go see every single water point and find it there within 10 feet. And probably the most important idea was we would not send Westerners to Africa, to Central and South America, to Asia to go and do the work. We would go and find and grow and build the capacity of incredible local partners. We would help them serve their communities, lead their own people forward by providing the funding and the expertise and the equipment. So it was a very simple idea. Started 8 years ago. The only thing I knew how to do to get this thing off the ground was to throw a party in a nightclub. Sounds so unoriginal now. Got 700 people to come. I gave them all open bar for an hour, and I asked them to please give $20 on the way in. We didn't raise much, $15,000. But we immediately took it to a refugee camp in northern Uganda where people were drinking from this swamp. 31,638 people living there. They had one water point. We did a few water points. We would have liked to do more. But then we sent the photos and the GPS back to those 700 people that attended. I said, this is what you did. People were blown away. They had never expected to hear from a charity again. Some of them didn't even remember coming to the event. And we said, this is important. Let's just keep closing the loop. Let's keep restoring people's faith in charity. We built a social-first organization. We thought, direct mail was not going to be how people gave in the future. The movements of the world were going to be spread on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. We're the first charity to get 1 million followers on Twitter. We're the first charity in the world to use Instagram. And we tried to constantly find ways to connect our supporters and celebrate them and build community around the world. We've tried to partner creatively with organizations. Rather than just taking corporate CSR checks, We've tried to do more interesting things. Saks Fifth Avenue was our first one. We were like 9 months old. And I met the CEO and I said, hey, look, you sell women $5,000 handbags. That is amazing. We have $5,000 water projects. We are both New Yorkers. We should totally be working together. Thankfully, I was not thrown out of his office, and maybe it was such a crazy idea that they embraced it. And they shot their catalogs in water. They gave us the windows for a week on Fifth Avenue, Beverly Hills, Chicago, to raise awareness. Then they got their employees involved. They then started hitting up all their vendors, making Chanel and Prada and Gucci and Tom Ford buy wells. Raised $700,000, getting over 100,000 people involved. All right, McAllen came to us shortly after and said, all right, we're in Scotland, it rains a lot, and there's a lot of water in the making of whiskey. We're like, oh, wow. Okay, so their marketing team thought about it, and they said, we have an idea. We have a 64-year-old Macallan. What if we took it on a world tour, and if you wanted to taste it, people had to drop $5,000? We're like, you've lost your mind. Who would ever pay you $5,000 to taste your old whiskey? Single bottle. They obviously knew their audience. Time and time again, we focus on radical transparency. We believe this is the way that charities will need to operate in the future to be successful. We use data to show people their impact. We tie every single dollar raised online on our fundraising platform to the actual photos and GPS and costs of those projects. We have drilling rigs out there. We mount GPS units to them. Our drilling rigs can be tracked in location, and they tweet their location. Hi, I'm here drilling up a storm in somewhere, Ethiopia. We're using technology to ensure the sustainability of these projects. We were awarded a $5 million grant from Google to go and try to work on a remote sensor that we can drop in thousands of villages so that we know water is continuing to flow over time. Largest gift Google had ever given a nonprofit in the history of the company. At the same time, training up local entrepreneurs who could go and act on that data and make the major repairs if the community was unable to. This is our first sensor, and it is amazing to sit in New York and see actual data from a rural village flow, know how many gallons and liters people are taking of clean water every single day. We've open sourced this technology. We're hoping to have 4,000 sensors out over the next 12 months. Probably the most exciting thing, and I think when Charlie and I were talking about tonight and what would resonate with this crowd, is the organization has been powered by everyday heroes. And this very simple idea that we stumbled into early was an idea that so many people took on and said was for them. And it was the idea of donating their birthday. On our 1-year anniversary, I said, I don't want to throw another party in a nightclub. Too old for this. It doesn't scale. And I have everything I need. I don't need a gift card from Amazon. I don't need a tie or a wallet. People don't even have clean water. So what if I could use my birthday to help others have more birthdays? So I got this idea, what if I asked for my age in dollars, $32? Everyone I knew had $32 that they could give to charity. So I email every single person I know, and then even strangers. And I ask them all for $32. And I wound up raising $59,000 with my 32nd birthday. And I said, wow, it's a big deal. Nobody needs more stuff. Everybody could could donate one birthday for clean water. So this 7-year-old kid in Austin, Texas gets wind of the idea. He starts knocking on doors asking for $7. Now, he lived in a nice neighborhood, raises $22 grand. So this idea takes off. I had never heard of this guy, Adam Lambert. He didn't even win American Idol. Tries to raise $29,000 online. He raises 320 G's. Angela Ahrens over at Apple sends one email out, raises over $100,000. Excuse me, she's celebrated by her business community. People like Jack Dorsey of Twitter and Square giving up multiple birthdays. John Huertas giving up his 36th birthday, raising over $48,000. Will and Jada Smith raised over $219,000, challenged their fans, actually came with us to drill and to see their impact. All that was great. What was most exciting was this. 6-year-old kids that were not famous, they were not global business leaders, raising $2,300. 16-year-olds like Maggie Moran in the middle of the country, giving up her Sweet 16. One of my favorites, 89-year-old Nona Ween. And her mission statement is actually quite profound. I'm turning 89 and I'd like to make that possible for more people in Africa. She realizes she has lived double the life expectancy in so many of the places where we work simply because of where she was born. Some people said, my birthday is too far out, I need to do something right now. And we saw people immediately start climbing mountains, trying to raise $1 a foot. We saw people skydiving for charity water. We saw people give up wedding gifts. These guys were in the office last week. He did not buy his wife a ring. He bought her a water project instead and proposed to her. These incredible acts of generosity. These guys have biked across the U.S. 3 times now, raised $125,000. These guys made a charity water sailed the Atlantic. Nathan walked across America for clean water. Riley ate rice and beans for a month, guys. And this is one of my all-time favorites. Maddie, 6 years old, in Vancouver, selling lemonade. She gets out and sells 12 consecutive weekends. She does one lemonade stand in the pouring rain, and at her finale, her 12th, she gets a local band to perform on her sidewalk to attract lemonade buyers. Maddie, at 6, sells $5,300 of lemonade. And this was the movement. So these stories were fun, they inspired us. People were bringing the best of themselves. It's impossible to talk about our fundraisers without sharing one very sad but beautiful story of 9-year-old Rachel Beckwith. Some of you may even remember this from a couple years ago. She saw me speak at an event not like this, and I asked everybody, hey, would you just do one thing and give up a birthday? So she tries to raise $300 and she falls a little short. She raises $220. And she tells her mom, she was really disappointed. She said, I'm going to try harder next year. Felt like she failed. A couple weeks after her birthday, she is killed in a 20-car pileup. She's the only fatality in Seattle. And her family reaches out and says, hey, we'd love to reopen Rachel's campaign. We want to honor her last wish, which was for kids across the world she'd never met to get clean water. And that was more important than her gifts or her party. Started spreading around the world. People in her faith community, her church, started donating. People in Seattle started donating, spread across America, and then throughout the rest of the world. And people in Africa started donating $9 to this girl that cared more about them than herself. I met her mom shortly after this, and I remember just kind of bursting out into tears and saying, you need to spend the 1-year anniversary of your daughter's death with me in Ethiopia, which is where the money was going to be spent, and you need to go and meet these thousands of people. And she started crying, and she said, yes, I'd like to come. Can I bring Rachel's grandparents? And it was this extraordinary, extraordinary moment that we honored on video, and I'm just going to play a few minutes of this video and then wrap it up. And I hope that you'll be inspired by this incredible, extraordinary little girl with more empathy and compassion. I think we can learn so much from her and her beautiful story.
It's 6 in the morning and we're about to go see some of Rachel's wells.
I am Rachel's grandfather. I really wish Rachel could be here today.
Because first of all, Rachel would think that this is probably the neatest thing she'd ever seen in her entire life.
Our community, our church, where we are from, we greatly love Rachel and continue to love her family. And I'm overwhelmed with how greatly you have honored her memory. So please receive my most deepest and heartfelt thanks. You've done us a great honor today, so thank you.
Rachel developed such a big heart from such a young age that she understood and felt the pain of others on the other side of the world. To give up her birthday present so that other children can improve their lives is the most beautiful gift a person can give.
So what that story really taught us as an organization living through that was that this didn't belong to us. Charity Water didn't belong to us. It was the story of our incredible community. It was the story of Rachel, of her donors, of Maddie, of Nona, of Max. And we needed to get out of the way and just give people the tools to bring the best of themselves and focus on helping as many people get clean water as possible. In 8 years, we've grown the organization very quickly, more like a startup than a typical nonprofit. We've had over 1 million supporters in the last 8 years, give over $180 million generously. It's not how we keep score, it's about the impact we're able to make globally. And in 24 countries now, over 5.2 million people will drink clean water because of people like Rachel, because of people, actually like the people sitting in this room that just say, hey, I care, and I want to do something. I don't want to sit idly by. And I want to make a difference. 5.2 million is a lot of people. 668 is a really big number. So we have a lot of work to do. And we're continuing to get out there and tell the story, and I'm so grateful to Charlie for allowing me just to introduce this to some of you here. Maybe it's the first time you've heard of the organization. Maybe you don't know so much about the water crisis. If you're wondering how you can help, we were working on this. There is just one simple idea every single person in this room could embrace, and it's simply to donate your next birthday. There are 2,000 people here. The average person that does a birthday raises $1,000 from 15 of their friends. Now, if you're sitting here in this gala tonight, you are not average. I know that. If you were, think of the impact though. If everyone just took that simple idea once, we'd raise over $2 million for clean water and get 30,000 people involved in this cause. We set up a special website just for this, alphaway.org. If you wanted to pledge, even if your birthday is a year from now, it's so simple. I've done 6 birthdays now. You can go to alphaway.org. You've heard of the United Way? You know, Charlie's like, try to, Alpha Way. I think it has a better sign. Charlie has promised to give up his birthday. I think your entire exec team as well. I think Gerald even said he would donate his. Simple way, and you would know that you can take a child like this, drinking some of the nastiest water, and turn that into this and change their entire life. It's an amazing thing. Thank you guys so much for letting me end your evening and share this with you. Have an awesome night.
And it's not the end of the evening.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Well, the good news is it's not the end of the evening. He spoke a little prematurely. We have a couple more speakers left, but I want to answer a question. A lot of, I always like to answer the elephant in the room, and the elephant in the room is, what are we doing as a Latino organization helping people in Africa? Why shouldn't we be helping the Latino community? ALPFA's mission is to empower and develop Latino men and women as leaders of character for the nation in every sector of the global economy. And what we are doing is we're flexing a muscle and having Scott teach us how to use the tools. And I'm giving away my birthday. Gerald is giving away his birthday. Many of you, hopefully, it's very easy. You can do it on your mobile. It'll remind you 30 days out, and it'll teach you how to do this. And next year at the convention in Dallas, we are going to take everyone in this room, everyone in Alpha, and every one of our corporate partners who decides to do this and show the world, show America what a Latino organization is willing to do, not only in America, but around the world to show global leadership. That is what this is about, and I appreciate all of you joining in this effort with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott, for your inspirational remarks and for the amazing work you, your team, and supporters have done to provide clean water for people across the globe. And even though we are closing our 43rd convention, we continue with the excitement of the evening and looking forward to next year. It brings me great pleasure to present our lead sponsor for the 44th annual convention, Walmart.
Hi, I'm Doug McMillan. It's a pleasure to talk with you today about how important Alpha is to our company and to invite you to Dallas next year for the 2016 convention. I hope you've seen firsthand through this partnership how important diversity and inclusion are to our company. We want that to be clear in what we say, but more importantly, by what we do. I'm proud of the intentional work we've done over the past decade to broaden our talent pool and diversify our leadership ranks, including at the board of directors level. Around the world, now more than ever, Walmart reflects our diverse customer base, and that makes us a better company. With all of this in mind, we're proud to be the lead sponsor for Alpha's 2016 convention. The event will be held in Dallas and will focus on how Latinos are driving growth in the U.S. economy. I hope you'll plan on joining what I know will be an exciting few days. While we're just beginning the planning, I can promise you that we like big and meaningful events. We hope we can make a positive contribution to Alpha next year, and I hope you'll be a part of it. Thank you.
Buenas tardes. Good evening. I'm Aida Alvarez. I am so pleased to join you tonight at this year's Alpha Gala. Alpha is a unique organization led by my friend, Charlie Garcia, whose leadership I admire greatly. As a member of Walmart's board of directors, I'm proud of Walmart's long partnership with ALPFA. ALPFA is about creating opportunities for Latinos, a goal I passionately support. This goal is very much a part of Walmart's commitment to diversity and inclusion. As a Walmart director, I've seen the company's commitment in action firsthand with associates, suppliers, and customers. Given our strong partnership, it's only natural that Walmart would be the lead sponsor for ALPFA's convention next year. We hope to see you in Dallas for an amazing time. We will celebrate the many contributions of Latinos to this great country, and we'll have some fun. Join us.
Thank you, Walmart. It is now my pleasure to introduce Giselle Ruiz, Executive Vice President for the International People Division at Walmart. In this role, Giselle is responsible for driving the human resources strategy and priorities for one of the fastest divisions of the company. An inspirational leader and passionate about mentoring, Giselle was recognized as a top 25 powerful minority women in business by the Minority Enterprise Executive Council and by Fortune magazine as one of the 50 most powerful women in business 3 years in a row. Ladies and gentlemen, please come to the stage, Giselle Ruiz.
Buenas noches. Oh, come on. Come on, I'm the last one. Buenas noches. All right. I have to start by just saying, Scott Harrison, I don't know where you are, but what an example of the difference one person can make around the world. Can we please put your hands together and recognize him? Fantastic. So just to set the stage a little bit, first, I'm going to talk with you about 2016. We've spent a lot of time talking today and hearing a lot of wonderful inspirational speakers. I'm going to go home, back to Northwest Arkansas, feeling extremely inspired, but I want to talk about 2016. And before that, I've got to thank the leadership team. Yvonne Garcia, our chairwoman, what a wonderful job she's doing. Yeah, let's give her a hand. She's in the back. I especially want to recognize Charlie Garcia. I met Charlie in Northwest Arkansas. He was a brand new CEO, and he set those goals out in front of the Walmart team. And I'm here tonight watching those goals come to fruition. Charlie has done an amazing job as the new CEO of ALPFA, and please recognize him and show him how proud you are of his leadership. And then finally, this year's lead partner, Bank of New York Mellon. You've set a very high bar for us next year, my friends. But we are excited to live up to that challenge. And again, I hope I'll see you in 2016. So you might be thinking, why Walmart? Why would Walmart sign up for such a big responsibility to be the lead partner for the 2016 ALPFA convention? Where for us, it's really a smart business decision. I want you to think about this, and I'm sure that you've learned this while you've all been here. We are 50 million strong in the United States, 17% of the United States population, the largest minority and the majority in key demographic areas like California. Hispanics account for 48% of the overall population growth in the United States in just between 2012 and 2013. We're projected to grow by more than 10 million people by 2020. Another 10 million people in just 5 years. You know what else is unique and why this is such a smart business decision for companies to be involved with ALPFA, especially Walmart? The median age of Hispanics is 28 years old versus 42 for non-Hispanics. 24% of kids under the age of 18 are Hispanic. 1 in 5 kids going into kindergarten are Hispanic. These are incredible shifts in the dynamics of the United States. And we, our generation, gets to be part of that shift. We get to experience it and we get to lead it. Now, smart business people also think about the numbers. And if this is about our future, I'm telling all of you, we are a big part of the future of the United States. But it is also about our customers. Let's talk about purchasing power for just a second. From $210 billion in purchasing power in the year 1990 to an estimated $1.7 trillion in 2015. Hispanic buying power is growing at a rate of $90 billion a year. So for us in retail, we are driving growth in the consumer sector. But if we zoom in a little bit more, just a little bit more, and we talk about people, I think this is what's more important. You see, we have over 169,000 Latino associates working in the United States for Walmart, and more than 500,000 Hispanics and Latinos working around the world. So for us, this is near and dear to our heart. This is about people. I want us to take a little bit closer look, not just about the numbers, but why people, Latinos, Hispanics, are so important to our future. Let's take a look.
Hablemos de precios altos, como el dejar atrás grandes amigos, o esa inevitable despedida. Aprender un nuevo idioma, no poder celebrar un triunfo como antes, y muchas veces sentirte lejos, muy lejos.
Los momentos que te
El precio de ser responsable por la vida de los que son tu vida.
y porque ahora estoy aquí.
Has pagado mucho, pero vale la pena. Porque cada día estás realizando cada uno de tus sueños. Nosotros mantendremos nuestra promesa de precios bajos para ayudarte a que lo sigas viviendo. Ahorra más, vive mejor. Walmart.
What I love about that commercial, and that came from our Hispanic ad agency, Lopez Negrete. We've had a relationship with them for more than 15 years, is that I think it captures the true essence of our story. Our story. It captures the values that while we're all different across a lot of different cultures and communities, maybe we come from South America, maybe we come from Mexico or Central America or Puerto Rico. That was supposed to get like a hurrah. We are all united in these core values that we have as a community, as a Hispanic Latino community. Family, hard work ethic, pride in heritage, faith, ambition. All of those things unite us. La familia, somos trabajadores, tenemos orgullo en nuestras raíces, tenemos fe y aspiraciones para vivir mejor. I work in human resources. Who would not want to hire you? And if you ask me, any company that hires one of us, a Latino, a Hispanic, they're lucky to have you. So that explains why Walmart is so interested in being the lead partner for 2016, and why our partnership with ALPFA is so important. For me personally, I want to share with you why I care, why I'm here, live and in person, to support this event. My father's Mexican and Spanish, never went to school a day in his life, but he changed the world in his own way. He built roads, he built dams, he planted fields of produce, fruits and vegetables in Central California, and ended up owning his own small business. My mother, with a 6th grade education, born in San Luis del Cordero, Durango, in Mexico. She changed the world in her own way also. You see, she raised 2 educated young girls. She opened her own business later when I was about 13. And most importantly, they both taught us the importance of embracing everything about our culture, our heritage, our traditions, our language, nuestra raza. They also taught us to be fearless and tenacious, like I know many of your parents taught you. They taught us to be honest and humble and confident. But I don't want to leave you with my story. I want you to think about your own story, your heritage, and how you got here, and the sacrifices that were made by your parents or by your grandparents or by other generations. Maybe it's the sacrifices that you're making yourself. Now, one thing about events like this, we leave on a high. We're inspired to go out and do more. But life then gets in the way. People who haven't been to this event, who haven't experienced what we've experienced this week or tonight. So I'm going to leave you with a call to action. I want you to share your identity with your friends, with your coworkers, with your boss, because your identity, your culture, your heritage makes you unique, it makes you special, it makes you gifted. I want you to own your development. You're not done yet. This is only 1 week of your development. Own your development and keep going. I want you to bring others along. The sister or brother to your left or right that you're seated next to, your friends, familia, primo, hermana. And I want you to define your future. These are some of the things that we're going to talk about in Dallas. And again, we are so proud to be a part of the ALPFA family, and I can't wait to see you in Dallas. We'll see you soon.
Please welcome back to the stage ALPFA's chairwoman, Yvonne Garcia.
Well, good evening. Isn't Giselle amazing? So you need to help me close a deal. I just asked her backstage if she was willing to serve on my National Corporate Advisory Board. Can we have a round of applause to help convince her that that's a good idea? So I need to make something clear tonight. Charlie has a boss. Because I know the way, he's so charismatic, such a great speaker. He actually does have a boss. Cristina Avila, can you please stand and be recognized? Thank you for lending us your husband. He has been such an inspiration to this organization. Hopefully by now, I am his boss, but he doesn't, you know men, try not to make him feel whatever. Whatever it takes, just get him to perform. Oh, no. See, this is what happens when you get a bunch of Hispanics in a room. Mal pensados. Christina, help me out here. Anyway, I know it's running a little late, and although I haven't joined you in the what's it called, ALPFA after hours activities, I do have Facebook and have witnessed firsthand on Facebook what an amazing time everyone has had
So many of you are averaging 3 to 2 hours of sleep a night, and that's okay as long as you're having a good time and you're showing up to work tomorrow morning, we're good. You know, and I'm sorry I'm going off script, guys, but I do want to start by recognizing the change that this organization has experienced. Every single person that has approached me this convention has told me what a difference it is in terms of the quality of speakers, just the ambiance from last year, and that doesn't happen automatically, and it starts at the top. So I would like to recognize my National Board of Directors, my Vice Chair, Gabe Rodriguez, my National Corporate Advisory Board, but more importantly, the team that I know firsthand told me that they had seen the sunset rise from their office about 3 days in a row because of all the work that they did to make this convention possible, like Carlos Perez, Viana, Janice, Carmen, Ann Marquez. All of you, please stand and be recognized. So it's always an honor to stand here before you as your national chairman and see so many new and familiar faces. You know, I'm always, of course, blessed to have the opportunity to share my ALPFA journey with my family. You know, they've always served as such a source of inspiration for me. You see, for me, they represent the true essence of global, because we all come from different walks of life. In my family, we have Dominicans, Lebanese, Brazil, even Long Island. There's always one in the family. You know, we're Catholic, we're Jewish, we're Muslim, my kids are confused. However, though we all come from different parts of the world, we have one common denominator that brings us all together, and that's respect, admiration, compromise, and the ability to celebrate our differences. And those are the values that make us such a strong family, just like our ALPFA familia. You know, I'm blessed that at the age of 81, although they hate when I tell everyone their age because they don't look it, my parents still join me and share this wonderful experience. And of course, for those who have been around ALPFA for many years, they know that my first dance is always with my dad. My sister walks around pretending she's me, and for those of you who have seen someone who looks like me and says inappropriate things, it's not me. And my husband, you know, he's holding the fort down while I enjoy and relax and enjoy convention. So, you know, he's going for a 10 miles run at Central Park, having cappuccino on Fifth Ave, but he just wants to make sure that, you know, I understand the sacrifice he's making while I enjoy this wonderful convention. Because I do nothing else but sit on a lounge chair and welcome you all. No, I'm not angry. Okay. I also want to give a special welcome to my cousin, Dr. Guillermo Linares, who was the historic distinction, he carries the historic distinction of being the first born Dominican elected to the public office in the United States. He was recently re-elected as a member of the New York State Assembly representing Washington Heights, and he's here along with his beautiful wife, Evelyn. So welcome, Dr. Linares, primo, and thank you for your service. You know, throughout the convention, I've had the honor of representing my company, State Street, which has given me the opportunity, as you heard today at the luncheon, to really have my dream job, which is leading a global team and working in a global environment. And it's also allowed me to learn from amazing individuals that have mentored me and have been great colleagues, such as my boss, Dick Taggart, whose bedtime is 9 p.m., and that is a true testament of leadership that he is still here waiting for me to speak. So if I had to do a review on you, Dick, you would get a gay plus. Jim Cronin, Riaz, Carlos, Mike, to name a few. But it truly is an honor to work for a company who supports me and believes in me and provides me the opportunity to succeed. I hope you've also enjoyed these past 4 days. When you think about our theme, the impact of Latino leadership on the global market. Global impact doesn't always have to manifest itself in these large-scale events. We've talked about a lot of big numbers these days and about the power of Latino, but I want you to reflect upon the nothing short of heroic efforts of our parents or friends who took an amazing leap of faith to coming to this country, facing countless obstacles, culture, language, skills. Think about our own parents. Determined to succeed because, as the saying goes, if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. And so they did. They are the reason why many of us are here today. And their collective contribution to this country is why we are here in the world's greatest city discussing Latinos' global impact, New York City. A city whose global impact has made it #1 among the world-renowned Wall Street, home to the 2 largest stock exchanges, to the depths of one of the world's oldest and most expansive underground transit systems, to the towering heights of the World Trade Center, which has taken its place among the tallest buildings, to New York's Fifth Avenue, fashion capital of the world. You know, New York is first and among these and more. But the driving force that makes New York City the global powerhouse is that today its people, especially the 2.3 million Latinos that reside in this city. You can clap, New York, it's okay. Since when is New York shy? But what a perfect place it is to discuss the impact Latinos have on the global economy. But one of the best ways to truly appreciate the global multicultural nature of New York, you gotta run it. That's right, and I did it. When you run the New York City Marathon, you will not just see the majesty of the city's historic landmarks, which are just in about every mile, but you will also experience the 5 boroughs from a very unique perspective. So you start off the Verrazano Bridge, you hear the music in the background, you know, you're kicking off the race, and with a little pep in your step, you're shuffling through the corrals to Frank Sinatra's theme song, New York, New York. Across the Verrazano Bridge, you come into Bay Bridge in Brooklyn. At mile 8, the race passes right by the Brooklyn Academy of Music, where many of the historic greatest performers have appeared from all walks of life. It's interesting because when you make it into the Queensboro Bridge, the runners experience almost an eerie silence, but spectacular views of the Manhattan skyline. However, once you cross the bridge, you reach First Avenue for the longest leg of the race, where my Alpha New York familia awaited. A few selfies later, you're greeted by the frenzied cheers and distinctively Latino sounds of the bongos welcoming you to El Barrio in East Harlem, home to the vibrant Latino community. Then you round Willis Avenue Bridge, which carries runners into the Bronx, where runners are greeted with a vibrant salsa cambo. The Madison Avenue Bridge then takes runners back over the Harlem Bridge into Manhattan. World's famous museums dot this stretch, of course, in Museo del Barrio, the Jewish Museum Guggenheim. New York's diverse neighborhoods are the heart of the city, and you clearly see why as you touch these varied and distinct neighborhoods. You know, for many, the marathon embodies the competitive spirit, the pursuit of better performance, the stamina that is applied to achieve, but it's also a sense of community, a commonality, a fraternity. It's a bond between runners, onlookers, and visitors that connects us in a common sense of purpose. And this common sense of purpose is at the heart of what connects the millions of Latinos that reside in the city, and it's why it makes it a perfect backdrop for a discussion on global impact. New York City has always had a connection to the broader world. To start, it served as the capital of the United States from 1785 to 1790. Today, and for over a century, New York City serves as the gateway to the American dream for generations of immigrants, welcoming waves from the English wave into the late 18th century, the Germans, Irish, Chinese, Japanese in the mid-19th century, the Italians in the early 1900s, and the Latinos in 1950s, 1960s. And I'm part of that history, as New York served as a beacon of opportunity and hope for me and my family, just as it has since 1886 for many other families when the lady in the harbor first lifted her lamp beside the golden door to America. All of those brave and determined enough walked through that door in the pursuit of a society that would not restrict them, but rather foster their journey towards success. And that's exactly what the majority of immigrants to the United States have done for almost 2 centuries. Latinos, of course, are no exception. And I would like to trumpet the crucial impact that we are having on America. Much has been said lately to divide, misinform, and to cast dispersion on the value of Latinos to this great nation. And I am here to add my voice to the growing chorus of people and corporations that have not stood on the sidelines.
I'm proud to say that around the world's corporations, including our own corporate partners sitting in this room, they responded as true leaders as they do in moments like this, demonstrating their values and raising their voices in support of our brothers and sisters who are contributing so much to America. Just by your mere presence this evening and throughout the entire convention, it's an affirmation that you view our community as an integral part of your success. You know, some hear the term global mindset and impact, and they think it has nothing to do with them. Nothing could be further from the truth, for as leaders, we need to think and act globally and locally. And I'm here to underscore the point that real global impact is less about geography, though I can't say enough about experiencing different cultures firsthand. But that in itself is not enough. The global mindset is always thinking that takes into account the global trends and how they impact our way of doing business in our communities and around the globe. The global workforce trends that are increasingly impacting our economic environment are directly related to our human capital challenges. The scarcity of talent, particularly in knowledge-intense industries, is driving demand for vast new talent resources. And the professionals and students that you've had a chance to meet and engage during this convention are part of the solution and a source of that much-needed talent. Many innovative CEOs realize that we need a global mindset that draws more upon innovative thinking, one in which the global perspective is not bound by a provincial mentality which can stifle innovation and growth. We need more thinking like the Latinos and millennials that are sitting right next to you, and like that of the CEOs that have joined us in this record-breaking convention. The global mindset taps into the new way of thinking about quality of life, better governance, access to higher quality goods and services, and stronger communities. And the new leader's global mindset knows how to capitalize on these major forces, shaping our world and responds for the good of the organization and that of society as a whole. As we know, the new type of leader requires different competencies and talent. At ALPFA, we're building on that richness and perspective and experience that our vast Latinos and millennials bring to the table, so that someday we can have these type of leaders across all industry sectors, leaders that focus on creating shared and sustainable prosperity. That is what we consider true global impact, and we all have a stake in this. One example of this is ALPFA's CEO, who is bringing this kind of thinking and aspect to every aspect of this organization. Charlie Garcia is shaping a new, stronger ALPFA. He is leading this organization to have an impact beyond what any of us ever dreamt of. But be prepared. He's going to challenge you. He's going to challenge you to think differently, to be bold, and to dream the impossible. And before Charlie comes up to close us, I want to leave you with this thought. The Latino community in our country have many challenges ahead, but we have many more achievements to celebrate than things to fret about. In fact, if we take in stock the increasing power across all sectors that the Latino community is enjoying, we will begin to realize that we have an unprecedented opportunity to shape not only the destiny of this rich community, but also that of our nation. And I would go one step further and say, if all concerned recognize that our fates are inextricably intertwined and embrace our differences, we will achieve an unprecedented new era of prosperity for all. JFK put it best, for in the final analysis, our most basic common link is that we all inhabit this small planet. We all breathe the same air. We all cherish our children's future, and we are all mortal. Thank you.
Well, I have the best news of the evening, and that is, when you finally leave here, which will be very shortly, if you make a right-hand turn and go all the way down to the Treon room, we're going to have a very well-known New York DJ, cash bar, and a dance floor for all of you. I don't know if we're going to get Gerald out there dancing salsa, but I don't think so.
I'm sorry. This is a woman thing. I got to clean him. I got lipstick on it. Christina, you saw this.
Thank you.
We're good.
I have a very kind of serious topic to talk about, and I beg your indulgence. And I want to show you how we're reframing, and then we're going to have Yvonne come up here and close us. So, if I could have my first slide, we can get going. Thank you. There is a demographic tsunami that is threatening our nation. There's a demographic tsunami that is threatening our nation, and this book just came out in May by the McKinsey Institute, and it names 4 global forces that are breaking trends. And one of them in particular is one that not many people have been writing about or know about. This gentleman is the greatest investor of all time from identifying macro trends. He never appears in the press. He was the one that figured out the short on the British pound. Many people think it was George Soros, but it was actually Stanley Druckenmiller. Stanley Druckenmiller thought something was going on in the economy and the mortgage industry in 2004, 2005, and he legged into one of the largest short positions in history. He made so much money that he gave all the money back to his hedge fund in 2009, and he became the most philanthropic man in America, him and his wife, in 2009 when he gave away $800 million. For 30 years in a row, he never had a losing year, and he made 30% per year. Nobody makes that kind of money, not even Warren Buffett. He was caught in a speech in January also feeling very uncomfortable, the same unease that he felt in 04, 05. And the unease, or these 3 trends that are affecting the United States right now. You have 80 million retiring baby boomers, 10,000 a day for the next 18 years. People aren't dying at the age of 65, they're dying at the age of 79. And Americans, as other developed world, are just not having babies, and fertility rate is falling, and this is what happens. There's a huge number of workers that are retiring, which started in 2011, which is the baby boom generation, which is shrinking our workforce substantially. Why that's important is because it's overwhelming our city, our state, and our federal pension programs. Rising longevity, people are living until the age of 79, and the new revolutionary technologies that doctors think are coming in the next 5 years are going to substantially increase our longevity. In 1950, there was 18 or 16 workers for every retiree, and women were having 4 children per family, and now they're having less than 2. Why is this important? And why does this affect Latinos? And this is what you really need to understand to reframe, is that Social Security our own government is telling us that Social Security is going to go bankrupt by the year 2032. And we don't hear about this, and none of the solutions are very good ones. One of the things that Stanley talked about was that if you looked at our government budget and our liabilities and applied GAAP accounting, we wouldn't have an $18 trillion debt, we'd have a $200 trillion debt. Let's make this real. Let's look at the state of Illinois. We talk a lot about Greece. 45% of Illinois' pension obligations are unfunded. That means they have $138 billion in liabilities and $86 billion unfunded. Chicago, like many of our cities in the United States, 47% Latino. 47% Latino. So, if you read the newspapers a few weeks ago where the mayor of Chicago is trying to reform the pension system, the Social Security said, no, you can't do that. All the pension and medical benefits for retirees are mandatory. So where do they take the money? They take the money from education. And whose education? Latinos. That's happening, and they magnify that all around the country. There are 7 cities in the United States of our top 25 cities that are teetering on bankruptcy. There's 26 of our states that are underfunded, and our Social Security pension system, our own government is telling us, is going to be insolvent in the 2030s. The Economist writes on the cover, an 18-page cover story in March of this year, that the solution to the United States' issues are Latinos, and the rise of Latinos is a huge opportunity, and the United States must not squander it. Now, it must be interesting living in England where the most popular baby name is Muhammad, and there's more mosques than churches today, because when there is a void in a developing country, somebody moves in. This book, this gentleman died in March of this year. This was his last book. Every time he wrote a speech, Margaret Thatcher read it. Lee Kuan Yew has a whole chapter about why the United States is going to continue its world dominance because of one factor, Latinos. Why is it that a leader of Singapore and the economists in England can see that Latinos are what's going to keep this country strong? This graph is very demonstrative. It was a book that came out in November called Diversity Explosion by demographer William Frey at the University of Michigan in Brookings. In the year 2000 to 2010, there was 4.3 million less whites being born. If it weren't for Asians and Hispanics, we would have had a net decrease, would have affected our economy and our GDP. This happened 2 weeks ago in the state of California. The U.S. Census came out, and the Latinos now outnumber whites in California. As California goes, the rest of our country grows. And this is something you really need to understand. IHS, a very reputable global company, because of so many older whites retiring, 40% of the workforce in the next 5 years, net entrants are going to be Latino. And between 2020 and 2032, 75% of the new entrants into the job market in the United States of America are going to be Latino. How many Latinos of 1,300 employees of the Hilton? How many? 65% of the employees of this hotel that you're sitting in today are Latino. That is happening across America. But where are we now? You would think that if some Martian came down from somewhere and came to this planet and knew these facts, they would think that every white person in this room would get up and hug a Latino and say, thank you, because my Social Security and retirement benefits are going to be paid for by the workers. We have a pay-as-you-go system where the current workers pay for the retirees. And the only way that we fixed Social Security over the last 30 years has been with payroll taxes. Right now, payroll taxes are 12.5%. They used to be 2%. And the only way to fix it is to take this to about 20%. And who's going to pay this? It's going to be Latinos. What are private and corporate foundations doing about this? Not much. Only 1% of foundation giving in the United States, whether corporate or just regular profits, go to Latinos. So we believe that ALPFA can help through our mission, because one day those Latino workers, and it's coming soon, are going to say, why are we paying for all these benefits when we're not getting the education for our children, we're not getting the subsidies that older white retirees are getting? That's not fair. And we're trying to create those values. I have an hour presentation that I'm taking to corporate America. You've seen 10 minutes. And we just want to show you why every person in this room and every Latino is important to the future of America. Without us, we wouldn't be strong. And one day, it's not going to be magazines in England and foreign leaders in Singapore that are going to recognize our value. And with that, to close,
This concludes all business for 2015 ALPFA's annual convention. Thank you, and please join me on the dance floor.
thank you. No more lipstick.